assisted by Dan Myers and Riley Mooney. Our trainer is the legendary golfer Rob Brooks. Let's hear it for your Watertown Rapids!
Thank you, Jay. And now, in honor of Canada Day and our Canadian players on the Watertown Rapids, we will be listening to O Canada and our national anthem. Joining us on the field singing the national anthems is Abby McDonald. Our national anthem will also be signed by Angelina Raulino. At this time, I'd like to ask everyone to please rise for the national anthem.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriots love with all thy sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the truth love strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on God for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on God for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on God for thee. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, all the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red the fire. All the land of the free and the home of the
Hey fans, let's hear it again for Angelina Raulino and Abby McDonald. What a performance! Fantastic! All right, we're going to get our Northern New York Field of Dreams family here, and I need your help. For folks, if this is your first.
Well, a very pleasant good evening to all of you joining us here at Toyota Field at the Alex T. Duffy Fairgrounds, home of the Watertown Rapids, where the Rapids will take on the visiting Amsterdam Mohawks, a team we didn't get to see very often here in Watertown last year, but they've become a frequent opponent this season. Watertown Rapids baseball, thrilled to be bringing you the action tonight, is NBC Watertown. Zachary Zabriskie, the man on the controls, running several cameras tonight. He's a multi-talented man. My name's Connor Lalone. We're thrilled you could join us. And I'm happy to be here, able to bring you play-by-play action of tonight's baseball matchup. The Perfect Game Collegiate Baseball League, easy for me to say, is, for those of you who aren't super familiar, a league of college kids who play during the off-season, and it's an opportunity for them to stay in shape, stay fit, stay fresh, and maybe get spotted by some scouts, some other colleges that potentially could be open to transfers with the whole new transfer rules in the NCAA. It's easy for players to move around now. And the Perfect Game Collegiate Baseball League gives these young athletes an opportunity to showcase their skills. And it's a good mix of all sorts of levels of athletes, especially Watertown is comprised of a couple of kids from Division I schools. They've got some Division II and III kids as well, and even some collegiate community colleges on display here. And one thing the Rapids pride themselves on is contribute in meaningful ways. Plenty of local kids. For those of you in the northern New York area that you might recognize the names if you followed. It's notable as just purely longevity as we get started. And first pitch is underway very shortly to Gage Miller, last year's PGCBL MVP. And that one missed just low. So it'll be 1-0 to start the night here as the Watertown Rapids take on the Amsterdam Mohawks. Always a big task playing against an Amsterdam team that does an excellent job recruiting year in and year out. And they just always are stacked with all sorts of Division I talent. And this year's no exception. We've already seen them a couple of times this year. I'm fortunate to have the opportunity to do some public address work here as well. As that one misses, and it'll be 3-0. As I was saying, I get to do some public address work here, so I'm familiar with the league and the teams. And this Amsterdam Mohawks team is no joke. That one's in there for a strike, 3-1. Corey Arthur, the starting pitcher for the Rapids this evening. Both teams wearing black uniforms, which is a little unusual. That one's in there as well. Miller thought it was a bit low, but it's called strike by the home plate umpire. As I was saying, Watertown with the black uniforms with the white collars and trim around the sleeves, gray pants, and black hats with the blue crests on the front. That one's fouled away out of play down the first base side by Miller. And the count will stay full to the first batter of the game, faced by Corey Arthur. The visiting team, Amsterdam Mohawks, with some uniforms that are aesthetically pleasing, but not exactly ideal for those of us trying to call the game or do the public address work. The numbers not super legible all the time on the back of those uniforms, but really sharp looking jerseys with red striping on the arms and then white and red across the front. Foul to end straight back by Miller, and it'll stay full. Well, it's a good crowd here tonight on the Youth Alliance of Jefferson County and the Alliance for Better Communities night. Youth Alliance of Jefferson County sponsoring all children ages 6 to 18 to get in free to the game tonight. That one's low and inside, and Miller will walk to start the game. And so that'll bring up the Tully strikeout batter of the game, Mohawk shortstop number 2, Brewer Webster. Well, as I mentioned, Miller, last year's league MVP. Webster's hitting .295 on the season, so no slouch either in there in the 2 spot for the visiting Mohawks. That one misses down from Arthur. It'll be 1-0. Well, it's just a beautiful night for baseball. It's warm, sunny, not overly humid, and a bit of a slight breeze blowing in actually from the first base side out. That one in there for a strike. It'll be 1-1 to Webster. Miller off of first, staying there. Pitch is well high, but handled by the Rapids catcher, David McCann. Well, McCann is one of those players, at least to me, just looks like a baseball player, has the right build, has all the right tools. He's a young kid and not yet even in college. That one's low. And it'll be 3-1 to Webster. As I was saying about McCann, he's just got a good build. He's got slightly above average speed, good power, good contact, and a plus arm behind the plate, and the ability to play several different positions. We've seen him at third. We've seen him in right field. That one's high. And it's the second straight walk for Corey Arthur to start the game for the Rapids. And so the Mohawks will have men on first and second with nobody out. As Cam Gurney steps to the plate. Gurney batting an astounding .589 on the season. The last time we saw Amsterdam, Gurney's batting average was up in the 700s. No batting gloves for Gurney as he steps in with men on first and second and nobody out. That one over the middle, and it's in for a strike. Arthur able to get ahead of the very dangerous Cam Gurney. Not a huge lead for either runner as Arthur delivers to the plate. That one fouled off right in our direction. It'll get up and out of play over the third baseline, and it'll quickly be 0-2 to the third baseman, Gurney. Well, the big spot here early in the game. Top of the first inning, nobody out, and men on first and second, both reaching on walks issued by Corey Arthur, the Rapids starter. Arthur now to the plate. This one's in play. Hit to the shortstop Myers, who fields. Thought about going to second. Instead, he's going to throw to first, and that one's up the line. And everybody's going to be safe on what we'll wait to see the official scoring on, but I'd have to think that's going to be probably an infield single for Cam Gurney. And so the bases will be loaded with nobody out for the first baseman, Luke Longo. And Longo, bit of a power threat, hitting .270 on the year, but dangerous hitter nonetheless. That one misses high. It's 1-0. So the scoring on that is an error against the shortstop Myers, allowing Cam Gurney to reach. That one misses inside, and it's 2-0. With the bases loaded, nobody out after a couple of walks and an error. Arthur. That one hit high and deep down to left field, and Grandelli on the track is not going to be able to reel it in. Myers cuts it off now at shortstop, but a run's going to come across as the Mohawks will take an early lead on a deep fly ball to left field off the bat of Luke Longo. And he reaches on a single. Look for a second like Grandelli might have had a chance to make a play on that in left field, but it fell in off of the wall. And the Mohawks lead 1-0. The bases are still loaded, and there's still nobody out.
Now batting, number 20, Jackson West, the extra hitter.
So here's the extra hitter, Jackson West, with the bases loaded and nobody out in the top of the first inning. That one's in play again, and that's going to be down for a single. Coming in to score is Webster. Holding at third is Gurney, and so again the bases will be loaded as another run comes across on the single by Jackson West. So the Rapids find themselves down early here, 2-0. Just being ambushed out of the gate by the visiting Mohawks. And Dakota Duffalo's got a chance to add on as there's still nobody out and the bases are loaded for the left fielder Duffalo. Long hold from Arthur. Set now, and here's the pitch. That one in the dirt, but stopped by McCann. Big block there with runner on third base. McCann did a good job to keep it in front of him. One and 0 after the ball in the dirt. Bases loaded, nobody out in the top of the first. A couple of walks, then an error, and then consecutive singles. That one's low, and it'll be 2-0. Again, long hold from Arthur, who really has had a difficult time finding the strike zone here in the first inning. The lefty kicks and deals, and that one is called a strike. Looked like it might have been inside. At least Duffalo thought so, but the umpire says it caught the corner of the plate, and it'll be 2-1. Arthur would love a ground ball, a strikeout, anything to get some sort of momentum back. This one's in play, and over the head of the second baseman, Terrence Moynihan. Coming in to score easily is Gurney, and stopping at third is Longo. So the Mohawks content to just keep moving the chain. It's a single and an RBI for Dakota Duffalo. 3-0 is the score now as the center fielder Jalen DeBow steps to the plate, and McCann's going to head out and have a word with Arthur, which is not necessarily the worst idea. And now Rapids head coach Mike Kogut is going to join the party at the mound as well. Well, Arthur just really struggled to find the strike zone so far. And when he has, the ball's been put in play. You've seen a couple of balls hit really hard. That last one lined up the middle, and just been a rough start for the Rapids and for Corey Arthur, the lefty starting pitcher. Longo was the one who got everything started with that single off the wall to left field over the head of Gaten Grandelli. And so now still nobody out, and the bases are still loaded. 3-0, the Mohawks lead here in the top of the first. And Arthur, after the mound visit, trying to get anything going and keep his team relatively close before they even have a chance to get a bat in their hands. This one finds the strike zone on the first pitch, off speed down the middle, and it's a strike called against Jalen DeBose, the center fielder, who has some serious speed. That one fouled off at the plate, little check swing. No, it hit him. That one looked like it came off the bat of DeBose, but he came up limp immediately, and it's going to come off of his right foot, actually, and so that's going to force home another run on the bases loaded hit by pitch. And now Bryce Hubbard, the catcher, will step up to the plate with the bases loaded and still nobody out. 4-0 is the score here in the top of the first. And the Rapids haven't been able to get a single out to this point of the game. Assuming we started right at 6 o'clock, which I think we might have been a little bit late, but it's been a 10 or 15 minute inning so far at the very least, and the Rapids haven't registered an out. The Mohawks looking to add on even more. 4-0, they already lead here in the top of the first. Hubbard pops this one straight up, and Arthur's actually going to get it himself and record the first out of the night, to some sarcastic applause from the Rapids fans here in front of us. And so the first out on the pop out to the pitcher. We'll bring up the second baseman, Alex Irizarry. First pitch to Irizarry misses high. And it'll be 1-0. Irizarry hitting .321 coming into the night. Lots of players on this Mohawks team with some very respectable batting averages. Irizarry pops this one back and out of play down the third baseline. And it'll be 1-1. Again, bases loaded. 1 out now here in the top of the first inning. The leadoff man Miller walked, then Webster walked. Cam Gurney reached on an error. And then 3 singles in a row from Longo, West, and Duffalo. That went in the dirt and stopped by McCann. Then DeBose was hit by a pitch to force a run, and then Bryce Hubbard flew out to the pitcher, Corey Arthur. And now it's Alex Irizarry, the 9-hitter. Fouled off at the plate and out of play over by the first base side, the away dugout. 2-2 now to Irizarry. And a bit of a timeout at the plate. Arthur now dealing to the plate, and this one's put in play, knocked down over at first, and unable to make the play as Pirelli throws it away. And another run is going to come in, 2 runs are going to come in, and DeBose is going to make his way all the way to third as Pirelli knocked that one down and then looked to toss it over to Arthur and just threw it behind him and over the head. And another couple of runs will come in for the Mohawks on the error for the first baseman, Quentin Pirelli. And so the right fielder, Carlos Martinez, will step up to the plate. Six nothing after the Pirelli error, so a couple of errors here in the first inning for the Rapids. Pirelli over at first is a man we've seen play several positions as well, as that one misses down and away, 1-0. Pirelli's caught, he's played some first, he's played some outfield. A lot of these Watertown Rapids have played all over the diamond. One of the interesting things that caught my eye tonight is that one misses up, is that Nick Mazzata is playing third base tonight for the Rapids, normally over at short, and Brett Myers, who normally plays third, is over at short. So those two players have switched from what would normally be their positions. 2-0 to Martinez, and that one's in for a strike. First and third, 1 out for the 10-hitter in the lineup for the Mohawks, the right fielder, Carlos Martinez. Makes the catch, and here comes DeBose from third. Grandelli's throw is going to be cut off by Mazzata, and DeBose will score easily. And so it'll be 7-0 on the sac fly for Carlos Martinez. So the Mohawks have now officially batted around as the designated hitter, Gage Miller, has come back up. Miller, last year's league MVP, hitting .333 on the night, coming into the night. And will still be batting .333 after he walked to lead off the game. His second appearance of the first inning. That one misses high, and it'll be 1-0. So 2 outs now. First out recorded when Hubbard popped one up to the pitcher Arthur, and then the most recent one, Martinez, with the sac fly out to left field. This one fouled off right towards the Rapids bench. 1-1. Two outs now. Miller, multi-dimensional hitter. He's got all sorts of ability to hit for average, but he's also got some serious pop. 5 home runs on the year already for Gage Miller as he takes that one high. It's 2-1. Well, I'll tell you what, it was a pretty rowdy and excitable crowd before the start of this game, and a lot of the airs come out of the Duffy Dome as Miller pops that one up in right field. Coming in is Flaherty, and tracking it, reeling it in, is Malachi Flaherty, who makes the catch and ends the top of the first inning. The Mohawks bat around and score 7 runs in the top of the first, and they lead 7-0 before Watertown even gets a chance to step to the plate. So not the start the Rapids would have hoped for, not the start Corey Arthur would have hoped for. And the score is 7-0 as the Mohawks defense takes the field, and always interesting to see how teams respond from getting punched in the mouth early. This is a Rapids team that we watched all of last year. At least I watched all of last year. I shouldn't say we. I had the chance to, again, do a lot of public address for this team last year, and one of the things the Rapids did extremely well was fight back. Even if they didn't necessarily complete the comeback, they always made it interesting. And it seemed like even if it took them 3 or 4 or 7 innings to get warm and get loose and string some hits together, it seemed like they almost always did. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle that tonight. It'll be Nick Licurdo to lead off for the Rapids tonight, as he's done pretty much all year long since arriving from Virginia Tech. Licurdo, like I said, out of Virginia Tech. And the catcher for the Rapids, McCann, is committed to Virginia Tech, just out of high school. He's still only 18 years old. But those are a couple of the Division I players for this Rapids team. And so the Rapids getting set for their first plate appearances of the night. As I mentioned, it'll be Nick Licurdo, the center fielder, to lead off for the Rapids here in the bottom of the first. As you hear public address announcer for tonight's game, Dan Dallin, announce Licurdo out of Virginia Tech. And Licurdo third on the Rapids in batting average, hitting .278 coming into the night. Player's got some serious speed, plays a really solid defensive center field as well. That one misses, and it's 1-1 quickly to Licurdo. One and two now to Licurdo. That one misses down and away. That one in the dirt, and it's full for Nick Licurdo. And that one misses as well. So Licurdo walks to lead off the game for the Rapids, and Watertown has their first base runner. Now batting for the Rapids is the second baseman, Terrence Moynihan. Tyler Sauceville delivers to the plate. That one's down and in the dirt and blocked by the catcher, Hubbard. 1-0 as Moynihan digs in way in the back of the batter's box. This one in play down the right field line, and coming in is the right fielder, Martinez, to make the catch and record the first out of the inning for the Mohawks, which will bring up the designated hitter, Jax Miller. Miller leading the Rapids in average, hitting .361. He's got a triple and 3 doubles on the season and 4 stolen bases. Miller capable of playing center field as well as the other corner outfield positions. Lately has been doing a lot of designated hitting and extra hitting for the Rapids. And an easy choice as he's leading the team in average. Licurdo on first. This one in play off the pitcher, Sauceville. And Miller's just going to put that one in his pocket. He actually throws back to second, has no chance. And so Miller will reach on the infield single. That one came right back off the pitcher, Sauceville, who shakes off the umpire, signaling he's all right. But after the infield single, it'll be men on first and second for David McCann, the Rapids catcher. Swings a powerful bat from the left side of the plate. And the umpire and Sauceville exchanging words, and it looks like we're going to have actually a change of baseball. Sauceville wasn't thrilled with that one. And the umpire is actually going to call over Rapids head coach Mike Kogut and talk about the baseball. Kogut is all smiles, so it's nothing too serious. Not exactly certain what the situation is right there as he hands it to Dan Myers, the assistant coach. After all that discussion, it'll be the first pitch to Rapids catcher McCann, David McCann, with men on first and second and one out. Sauceville delivers, and that one's down, 1-0. Sauceville kicking the mound out there. I don't think the Rapids grounds crew will be too thrilled with that. They take a lot of pride in what they do here at the Fairgrounds, Toyota Field at the Alex Duffy Fairgrounds. That one misses down and in, and it's quickly 2-0 to David McCann. Long hold for Sauceville, who comes set now. And here's the pitch. McCann fouled off out of play down the third baseline. And it'll be 2-1. One out. Men on first and second. And after a walk to Licurdo and then an infield single for Miller, sandwiching a fly out to right field for Terrence Moynihan. Sauceville's delivery to the plate. That one's low as well, and it'll be 3-1 to McCann. David McCann being very selective at the plate here with a couple of runners on early, down by 7. The Mohawks tattooed Rapids starting pitcher Corey Arthur in that first inning, who took quite a beating early. A couple of walks, a couple of errors, didn't get helped out by his infield defense either. And so Amsterdam able to score 7 in the top of the first. Sauceville bends that one out of the zone, and McCann will walk to load the bases for the Rapids, and that will bring the third baseman, so used to saying the shortstop number 2, Nick Mazzata, but the third baseman number 2, Nick Mazzata, will step to the plate now with the bases juiced here in the first inning. So both teams able to load the bases in the first inning. Amsterdam took full advantage of it. See if Watertown does the same with Mazzata out of Fairleigh Dickinson stepping to the plate. Mazzata on the season, coming into the night, hitting .289, 5 RBIs, 13 walks for Mazzata. That one's fouled straight back, 0-1. Again, just a beautiful night here in Watertown, and the breeze picking up just a little bit as we are still in the bottom of the first inning. Almost 35 minutes after first pitch. That one misses out of the zone, and it'll be 1-1 to the third baseman, Mazzata. Beautiful sunny day in Watertown. We've had Not too many of those lately with all the smoke issues, as that one's by Mazzata. The smoke, the rain, the weather lately hasn't necessarily cooperated, but it is tonight, at least so far. And the forecast actually looked beautiful as well. 1-2 after the swinging strike for Mazzata. Men on all 3 bases. Bases loaded. Pitch, and that one's fouled back. Straight back. And Mazzata stays alive, 1-2. Again, big crowd here in Watertown, but not necessarily super lively so far. Maybe Mazzata can change that with a swing of the bat here. This one's in play, and it's going to get through for a base hit. In comes Licurdo. Miller around third. Good throw to the plate, and Miller's hung up and bobbled by the catcher, and Miller's actually going to be able to get back in the third. And so the bases will stay loaded. Well, it was a great throw by the right fielder Martinez. And Miller was dead at home, actually. He kind of hesitated, stuttered, and then the ball skipped in front of the catcher, Bryce Hubbard, who then took his time throwing back to third, and Miller was able to dive in head first, safely back to third. And so the bases will be loaded still as the Rapids get on the board. 7-1 is the score. And coming to the plate is the first baseman, Quentin Pirelli. Pirelli off to a rough start so far, only hitting 170 on the season. But he's got 16 walks to lead the Rapids, so good eye at the plate, Pirelli. Pirelli, as I mentioned, multi-talented, like many players on this Rapids roster, able to play multiple positions, first, catcher, outfield, pitcher. We've seen him pretty much everywhere this season so far. And he's up now with the bases loaded and 1 out. That one down, 1-0. Miller, the runner, on third. McCann on second. And Mazzata on first after the single and the RBI for the Fairleigh Dickinson man, Nick Mazzata. 2-0 is the count for Pirelli. As I mentioned, the Rapids leader in walks, as a walk would be crucial here. That one's in for a strike. And it's 2-1. Rapids first baseman digs in, looks at that one low. Good eyes to spit on that pitch. It'll be 3-1 for Quentin Pirelli. Dan Dallin doing his best to get the crowd involved, and it's working. Playing some Oregon music, a typical charge. That one's in for a strike, though, and it's a full count to Pirelli with 1 out and the bases loaded here in the bottom of the first inning. It's 7 runs on 3 hits and 2 errors in the top of the first for the Mohawks. That one's by Pirelli, and he strikes out with the bases loaded. And then it's a big out, as now there's 2 down, as Gaten Grandelli will step to the plate now, and Pirelli had the chance to make an out and score a run. Instead, he whiffs on the fastball right down the pipe. And Grandelli will step to the dish now. Grandelli with some serious power as well. 2 home runs on the year for Grandelli, 13 RBIs. That one's up down the left field line, but caught by the left fielder, Dakota Duffalo. And so the Rapids rally falls a little bit short. They only get 1. At the end of 1, it's 7-1 in favor of the visiting Amsterdam Mohawks, as the Rapids load the bases, but only scratch one across on a couple of hits. And 3 men left out there as it's 7-1, and the Rapids will take the field again defensively. And it looks like there may be a pitching change for the Rapids. It looks like the Lime man, Mike Flyzik, on the pitch for the Rapids. Mike Flyzik doing the on-field interview the other night at Lime Chameau 3 Mile Bay Community Night here in Watertown on Thursday night. And Flyzik now on the pitch for the Rapids. I'll admit, Flyzik's not somebody I've seen too often. Seemed like every time he had a chance to pitch last year, it was on the road. But now it's Flyzik on the pitch. As the Rapids able to scratch one across in that bottom of the first, but bit of a missed opportunity as they had the bases loaded and only one out. And only able to grab the 1 run. They trail 7-1 as we get set for the start of the second inning. Watertown Rapids baseball brought to you tonight by NBC Watertown. Zach Zubriski on the controls, showing off some of his dance moves too. Actually, big fan of Mike Flyzik's warm-up music looked like that time. And so for everybody at NBC Watertown, we'd like to thank you for tuning in to Watertown Rapids Baseball. Again, my name is Connor Lalone, and joining me is Zachary Zubriski. Running the controls, Zach is all sorts of talented, as Laura Whitney from State Farm has graciously offered us our pick of the entire candy bucket. It's perfectly filled right to the brim. Laura Whitney with State Farm, a huge sponsor for the Watertown Rapids. A big thank you to Laura Whitney. I took a cherry Tootsie Roll Pop. I don't know what Zach ended up with. Same thing. Great minds, Zach, great minds. I think I'll wait to enjoy that cherry Tootsie Roll Pop. That way you don't have to hear me crunching on it. As stepping to the plate for his second appearance of the night is the shortstop number 2, Brewer Webster, the Tully's strikeout batter of the night. That's a promotion that the Rapids have in conjunction with Tully's restaurant here in Watertown and in the upstate New York area. Tully's known for their chicken tenders, but sponsor partnership they have with the Rapids is that every night there's a player selected as the Tully strikeout batter, and if that player strikes out, the beer and wine slushy price is reduced for the remainder of that inning. And tonight, the Tully strikeout player is Brewer Webster, the shortstop for the Mohawks. It's 2-1 now as Webster digs in left side of the plate. Flyzik kicks and deals. Off-speed pitch fouled off in our direction, but up and over our heads and out of play. 2-2 now for Webster. And the fans here at Toyota Field now just 1 strike away from reduced beer and wine slushy prices for the rest of the inning. Flyzik looking to put away Webster. 2-2. And that one's in play, so no reduced prices just yet. Myers throws over to first. Good pick by Perilli, and they're going to say Webster beat it out at first. So that'll be an infield single, you'd have to think, as Myers made a pretty clean pick over there at short, made a little bit of a short throw. Perilli handled it cleanly, but Webster just beat it out. And so that'll be an infield single for Brewer Webster. Good two-strike hitting for the Mohawks shortstop that time. And now stepping to the plate is Cam Gurney, the third baseman, as Kogut out to discuss with the field umpire about that play. Kogut thought that the throw beat Webster over there to first base, and a lot of the fans here in front of me as well, I think, share that sentiment. It was a pretty close play. Hard to tell in real time whether or not Brewer Webster beat that one out over at first base. And the umpires now having discussion with themselves, between themselves, and doesn't look like anything is going to change out there, so it'll be a man on first and nobody out for the third baseman, Cam Gurney. Reached on an error his first time up. It was an error charged against the shortstop, Brett Myers, that allowed Gurney to reach in the first inning. That one out of the strike zone, the off-speed pitch. A breaking ball missed outside, and it's 1-0. From Flyzik, put in play down the left field line. That one's going to fall foul. Well, Grandelli gave it a good chase, and so did Brett Myers, the shortstop. Did well to get all the way over there to the left field line, but neither Grandelli or Myers able to get to it, and it falls in foul territory. It'll be 1-1 to the third baseman, Gurney. Gurney 0 for 1, reached on the error against Myers in the first. That one breaks too slowly and stays out of the zone, 2-1. Flyzik really relying heavily on that breaking ball. Looks like a slow curve. And he throws it again. This one hit down to shortstop Myers, and it goes through his legs. And Gurney's going to try for 3, and he's going to make it standing. As no throw from Grandelli. So that one again through the legs of Brett Myers. And again, Cam Gurney able to reach on an error against the shortstop, Brett Myers. Brewer Webster makes his way all the way to third base on the error. And now Luke Longo steps in. Longo with a long line drive to left field that got over the head of Grandelli and off the wall to drive in a run in the first inning. When Longo hit that ball, there was nobody out, and so the runners kind of had to hold up because it looked for a second as though Grandelli might be able to make a play on it, and that's why only 1 run scored. McCann, bit of a high throw back to Flyzik on the mound that time, and pretty alert on this third base side was Brewer Webster. Was ready to go if that one got over the head of Flyzik. Here's the delivery, breaking ball, no good. And missing for ball 3. 3-0 is the count now with runners on the corners. And nobody out here in the top of the second inning. It's the first baseman, Luke Longo, batting. And this one hit down to third. Mazzata to second. Moynihan over to first. And in time for the double play. So there's some infield defense for the Rapids. Run comes across to score on the double play. As Webster scores. But good infield defense, and the double play turned 5-4-3 that time on the double play. Mazzata to Moynihan to Perilli. And there's quickly 2 outs and nobody on. Again, the run came across to score from third on the play, and it's 8-1 here in the top of the second. Jackson West stepping to the plate. Now he watches strike 1. Flyzik able to get the breaking ball over for a strike to lead off extra hitter. Second pitch from Fleisig. That one misses way high, and it's quickly 1-1. Pitch from Fleisig in the dirt. Good pick by McCann. And it's 2-1. 2 outs here in the top of the second inning. And the extra hitter, Jackson West, at the plate. Fouled off, directly back, and it's 2-2. Long wait for the pitch from Fleisig. Here it is. Curveball misses high, and it's full. Jackson West coming into the night, hitting .375 on the season. And that one is a called strike 3 against West, which will end the top of the first inning. Amsterdam gets another run on the board as Brewer Webster scores from third on the Luke Longo double play. And so it's 8-1, heading to the bottom of the second inning as we get set for the Great Foodie Race, which is a Jay Madison creation. As looks like contestants tonight are ketchup, mustard, milk, cheeseburger, hot dog, cheese, hamburger helper, and maple syrup. As they're going to run from third base all the way around behind home plate. Maple syrup with an early start, and it's between cheese and cheeseburger, and cheeseburger looks like he actually cut off cheese, and he's going to take the win over down the first baseline. The Great Foodie Race is, again, one of the fan favorites for actually really folks of all ages. I've seen lots of young adults and adults get involved in the Great Foodie Race, get really invested in it and make wagers and all sorts of involvement. They love it here, the Great Foodie Race. Sponsored by Old McDonald's Farm and Otter Creek Wineries. I only know that because I've said it every night for the past 3 months and all of last season as well. But the Great Foodie Race, just one of the things that Jay Madison and the Watertown Rapids team does here to try to make the game more entertaining, more fun, more engaging for the folks that attend. As the Rapids get set to head back up to the plate now in the bottom of the second. As we approach 7 o'clock. First pitch was scheduled for 6, which I think we started a bit late, but even so, it's been almost an hour of play, and we're only in the just now starting the bottom of the second. The Mohawks scored 7 runs in the top of the first.
Leading off this inning for the Rapids, number 17,
And so leading off the inning for the Rapids will be Malachi Flaherty, the right fielder. Flaherty now at the dish against the lefty Sauceville. That one misses high. It's 1-0. Flaherty was a member of the Rapids last year as well. Corner outfielder with some speed and does some pitching as well. This one is going to get through the hole down in between shortstop and third for a single for Malachi Flaherty, and runner quickly on with nobody out for the Rapids, which brings the extra hitter Mike Norton to the plate. Mike Norton has earned the nickname the Barracuda. I don't know the story behind that one. That's something I'll have to figure out one of these days, but Mike Norton stepping to the dish now. The extra hitter tonight. Again, like Flaherty, corner outfielder mostly. But Norton, a good bat, a really good bat to have in the 9 spot like he is tonight. Norton, a member of the Rapids last season as well. Typically in right, but tonight the extra hitter. It's one of the nice things about this league is having a designated hitter and an extra hitter. That one's in for a strike. It's quickly 0-2 to Norton. When you have an extra hitter and a designated hitter, you can give guys sort of half nights off, which is always nice, especially with how busy this schedule gets when games pretty much every night for 2 months in a row. Players constantly just picking up little nagging injuries, you know, the foul ball off their foot or twist an ankle making a play in the outfield or jam a thumb stealing second. Whatever it is, it happens as Norton swings and misses and strikes out for the first out of the inning. Having the extra hitter and the designated hitter just gives you a chance to give those guys a little bit of a rest, as Bretton Myers now will step to the plate. Myers looking to maybe atone. He's got a couple of errors already tonight. Playing at shortstop, which is, again, typically we see him at third, but short tonight, and maybe still just adjusting a bit to a slightly new position. Bretton Myers. 1-0. Saucefield delivers. That one's in for a strike. 1-1. Bretton Myers at Oswego State, which is a place that is pretty near and dear to Zach Zabriskie as well as myself. Both call SUNY Oswego our home for quite a few years. And Brett Myers, just one of a couple actually, Rapids at SUNY Oswego. Jonas Shear, another. And that one missed. It's 3-1. Big hack from Myers, and it comes up empty. It's 3-2. Myers struggling at the plate so far this season. Batting average under the Mendoza line. This one's popped up, and Flaherty's going to have to retreat back to first base as that one's reeled in by the second baseman, Irizarry, for the second out. And Watertown back to the top of the lineup as Nick Licurdo, the center fielder, will step to the plate. 0 for 0 with a walk in his first plate appearance. The lead off the night for the Rapids. Fouled away. It's 0-1 for Licurdo. Again, fouled off, and it's quickly 0-2. Rapids center fielder steps back into the box. Down 0-2 with 2 outs and a man on first. Flaherty is the man over there on first. Reached on a single through the infield. Step off from the pitcher, Saucefield. Flaherty singled. Norton with the swinging strikeout, and then Myers with the pop out to second base. 0-2. That pulled foul. Out in front of it was Licurdo, and he pulled it out foul down the third baseline and out of play. Flaherty will retreat back to first base again as Licurdo steps in for another 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. And a throw over to first. Flaherty dives back in well ahead of the throw. That's the first disengagement of the at-bat for Tyler Sauceville, who delivers to the plate this time, fouled off. Again, good fight by Licurdo in at the plate, fouling that one away, and the umpire out of baseballs. Gaten Grandelli runs a couple out to him. That's a testament to Licurdo's ability to fight here in this at-bat. He's been down 0-2 and still up there, hanging around. Another 0-2 into Licurdo, the slide step from the pitcher, and Mohawks going to take the easy play there as Webster just goes to second and picks up the third out. So a hit and one left for the Rapids in the bottom of the second. Flaherty reached on a single but left there and hung out to dry. So the Rapids trail 8-1 after 2 innings of play. And Flyzik will head back out to the mound for the home team as he gets set to try to hold the Mohawks right where they are. It's 8-1. Again, Watertown Rapids baseball brought to you by NBC Watertown. Zachary Zubriski is the man behind it all, doing the switching, running the cameras. My name's Connor Lalone, part-time public address announcer, part-time play-by-play for NBC, as well as for Watertown Red and Black football. Watertown Red and Black have a bye this weekend, which is why I'm able to be here and provide you with some play-by-play for the Rapids. Now the crowd's getting involved a little bit of Miley Cyrus gets everybody bobbing their heads, moving their feet a little bit as we get ready to start the third inning of play. It's 8-1 in favor of the visiting team, the Amsterdam Mohawks, here at Toyota Field, home of the Watertown Rapids of the Perfect Game Collegiate Baseball League. It's Youth Alliance of Jefferson County night and Alliance for Better Communities night here at the Watertown Rapids. The Youth Alliance paying for all youth ages 6 to 18 to be at the game tonight, and it's a good crowd. And as you hear public address announcer Dan Dallin announce, the Rapids have made a defensive substitution. It's Colin Hageman in at short for Brett Myers, as Dakota Duffalo will lead off the inning for the Mohawks. First pitch from Flyzik in for a strike. So Myers struggled a bit in the early going of this game at shortstop, and Colin Hageman will take his place. And immediately tested as Hageman, but that one's going to get past him and falls in for a hit for Duffalo. His second of the night. He's 2 for 2 now here in the early going. And so Jalen DeBose, the center fielder, will step to the plate now. Hit by a pitch in his first at-bat, drove in a run because the bases were loaded when he got hit on that right foot. He's got a runner on first this time and nobody out. Flyzik delivers to the plate. And a big breaking ball finds its way in for a strike. It's 0-1. Like I said, in the top of the second, that's Flyzik's go-to, it seems like, is that big, slow breaking ball. And he throws it again. DeBose out in front of it. That one's going to fall in front of Flaherty, and rounding second, heading towards third is Duffalo, and he's going to make it in ahead of the throw from Moynihan. And so it's a single falling in off the bat of DeBose. He's now 1 for 1 on the single to right field. And it's runners on the corners with nobody out, as the Mohawks will send Bryce Hubbard to the plate. First pitch from Hubbard to Hubbard is actually called low for a strike. Looked good from up here. Again, this is a tough angle to judge balls and strikes from. And that one from Hubbard. Fly deep to center field. Licurdo underneath it. Tagging at third is Duffalo, and he's going to score easily on the sac fly for Bryce Hubbard. Duffalo comes in as Hubbard flew that one deep out to center field. And the Mohawks tack on another run. It's 9-1. Alex Irizarry is the man who will step to the plate now. Little Hanson bop as Irizarry steps to the plate. DeBose off of first, this one high and handled by McCann. So Flyzik has done an admirable job so far for the Rapids, holding Amsterdam to just a couple of runs. That one's in for a strike, and it's 1-1 to Irizarry. Flyzik's pitch, that one's low, but blocked well by McCann. And it'll be 2-1. Pitch in the dirt from Mike Flyzik. DeBose staying put over there at first base. Irizarry reached on an error his first time up. That was an error against the first baseman, Perilli. This one in the air down the right field line. Heading out to really straightaway right field. Flaherty going back, makes the catch. And DeBose will be forced to retreat to first base as there's two away now here in the top of the third inning. And now stepping to the plate is the right fielder, Carlos Martinez. Martinez with a sacrifice fly in his first at-bat in the top of the first inning. And comes to the plate now with a man on first and two outs in the top of the third. First pitch to Martinez, in there for a strike. It's 0-1. Flyzik started him with a fastball there. And I think Martinez might have been looking off speed. So that one caught a lot of the heart of the plate for a strike. 0-1. Flyzik with a breaking ball, just missed, and it's 1-1. Pitch from Flyzik on the 1-1, grounded to the right side and handled by Moynihan, spinning and throwing. Perilli stayed on the bag to get the out, and that'll end the top of the first inning. Or the top of the third inning, rather, but the Mohawks add another run on the Bryce Hubbard sac fly, and the score is now 9-1. So as we get set to start the bottom of the third inning, I'm joined by Heidi Williams of the Youth Alliance of Jefferson County. Heidi, why don't you tell us a little bit about the Youth Alliance?
Sure. So we are based here in Jefferson County, obviously, and what we do is we work to build youth coalitions around the county in each of the schools. We currently have 6 coalitions around Jefferson County, and we're youth-led, so we meet with the students that want to join our coalitions, and they get to decide what they want to work on in their school. So we do focus on substances and alcohol amongst youth. So, you know, if the kids are noticing like a vaping issue within their school, then they'll come up with a solid plan. They'll, you know, meet with their school officials. They'll pull in their parents. You know, anybody else that can help kind of alleviate those issues within their school. So our ultimate goal is to reduce, delay, or prevent young people from using substances or alcohol. So yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like a really admirable goal. Obviously,
Yeah.
it's pretty hard to be upset with that kind of
Yeah.
thing. And the cool thing, like you said, is that it's youth-led.
It's youth-led, so they get to decide what they want to work on, which has been amazing. We've had some really wonderful groups, you know, come up with their own ideas. They come up with their own plans. Our Lafargeville Youth Alliance, actually, I have a young member here with me. Her and her group actually decided to partner with the SPCA for an event at their school and to talk about like healthier ways to spend your time or money by adopting a pet or taking care of a pet. So that was really awesome to see. But yeah, they're doing amazing work, and we are just extremely proud. This is our first year that we've actually had coalitions. So to start out with none at the beginning of the year, and now we have 6. It's been really amazing to see. So we're really hoping for some community change across the county.
Yeah, that sounds really awesome. Terrence Moynihan is going to pop the first pitch right down the first baseline and out of play. It sounds to me like one of the things that you are really focused on is teaching responsibility. Sounds like that's kind of the main focus is
Yeah.
letting kids and youth learn what it means to be responsible and
Absolutely.
helping them figure that out.
And kind of making their own decisions, right? And making the right decisions. So we do our best to encourage them as much as possible, to empower them to make those decisions, to have the confidence to talk to their peers about the risk and realities of substances and alcohol. So again, we really love our kids, and they're doing great work in the community. But yeah.
Terrence Moynihan called out on strikes looking, and that'll bring up Jax Miller, the designated hitter. So what are the things, I know you mentioned substance abuse is kind of one of the big things that you tend to focus on. What does that look like in schools? I know I'm only removed from high school about 5 or 6 years myself, but I know things change so drastically. I'm sure substance abuse in high schools looks different now than it did even when I was in high school. So is it predominantly alcohol? Is it predominantly vaping, tobacco, that kind of thing?
Yeah, it's vaping, but multiple substances within those vapes now. They're getting really tricky with vaping mechanisms.
That one goes off of the glove of the shortstop, Webster, and in for a single for Jax Miller. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
I saw it going, and I was like, all right, I'll stop talking. But yeah, vaping is probably the #1 top issue in schools in the county. And the kids will tell you that it's usually always the #1 first thing that is mentioned. But kids are vaping multiple things in the vaping mechanisms now, so that's our biggest concern. They're highly addictive. They're super concentrated. Some of them are not regulated, so you never know what you're getting.
Yeah, they can be extremely dangerous. I know that's one of the things that, like I mentioned, when I was in high school and then as I progressed into college, seemed to just kind of take off, and there's no real warnings on those sort of things.
And they're getting tricky. I mean, that's what the flavors do, right? They come up with all of these fun, fruity flavors, which specifically target young people. And that's what's reeling them in is, you know, the appeal of the flavors, and you don't taste the cigarette taste anymore. But unfortunately, like I said, they're extremely concentrated, and that's what kids are getting addicted to. So, yeah.
McCann fouls this one off, and it's going to fall in right in front of the on-deck batter, Nick Mazzata.
Yeah.
It is. It's warm up
It
here.
is very warm. I feel bad for you guys.
When the breeze is coming in, it's not so bad, but every once in a while it gets a little bit stale up here, and a little stuffy. Other than that, a really beautiful night. Good turnout as well.
Yeah, I brought a lot of kids out tonight, so we're super excited to see that. But yeah.
That was one of the things I heard about all week was the Youth Alliance doing everything they could to get fans here, get young people, youth here to this game in particular.
Yeah.
And done an excellent job doing that.
Yeah, no, we promoted it really hard. We got some of the schools to post it in their parent square. We shoved it out to all the youth serving organizations in the county, so we're glad to see the turnout for sure.
Pitch down and away. McCann will walk for the second time, and Perilli will step into the on-deck circle. Actually, Mazzata is the batter who will step to the plate. So I know you mentioned you're in the area. Where specifically are?
So our office is right in the Marcy building. So our address is technically Polk Street. So we're in the Marcy building right by the square. So.
And then you're involved in schools specifically.
Yeah, we have youth coalitions in 6 different schools in the county, and hopefully with the new school year quickly approaching, we'll be in the rest of them in the county. So we're working really hard towards that. But yeah, so I think Lafargeville has probably been one of our most active coalitions since roughly around February, and Hannah's been with us the whole time. She put out the first pitch for us today at the game, so we're happy to have her here, and I'd be happy to hand her over and let her get a couple questions in because she's done amazing work with our group. Anybody who wants to stop down in our booth, if she helped with a poster that's down there for that SPCA event I was talking about, and it's really beautiful. So yeah, we love her. But you ready? You nervous?
Yeah.
Ball gets away from the catcher, Bryce Hubbard, and down to second goes McCann. And looks like, I thought maybe we were going to have a mound visit. The pitcher, Tyler Sauceville, is going to have a conversation here at home plate. So, tell me about the SPCA event. Sounds interesting.
That was really fun. I got to do a lot of stuff by meeting new people at my school. And we got to walk an invisible leash while you were intoxicated. And we were handing out prizes as people spun the wheel too. So that was really fun.
So what was the main goal of your event, the SPCA event?
To get people in the community to stop by and prevent drugs and alcohol.
Pitch from Sauceville to Mazzata, and this one's popped up down the right field line. Giving chase is the right fielder Martinez. He's actually going to make the play. Tagging at third is Miller, and he's going to score easily. McCann comes in the third on the little bit of an impromptu sacrifice fly that time. But McCann will move to third. Miller will score on the sac fly for Mazzata. And that'll bring the first baseman, Quentin Perilli, to the plate. So what do you think? You a big baseball fan, or?
Kind of.
I can understand that. It's not necessarily the easiest sport to get into. There's a lot of little rules, and there's a lot of downtime where not necessarily too much is going on. But
I'm a big Yankees fan.
Gotcha. See, I'm a big Mets fan, so it's a blessing and a curse. Mostly a curse. Not involved. It's like Zach is a big Detroit Lions fan, so he knows the pain year in and year out. He understands. Big Tigers fan as well, he says. Yeah, that's. I'm not sure that's something I'd be willingly advertising, Zach. I know I just told everyone that I'm a Mets fan. It's about as bad. That one's low in the dirt. And a good stop by the catcher, Hubbard. So the school year's just ended, right? Any big plans for next year, or?
I'm going in 10th grade, so it's going to be kind of hard.
10th grade was tough. Definitely
Especially
difficult.
especially with line classes coming up.
Gotcha. Yeah, that was about when I started to get really busy with all sorts of after-school activities, playing sports, and involved in musicals, all of that fun stuff. It's a balancing act for sure, but again, it's one of those things you learn to manage your time, and you learn to understand when you have too much on your plate and when you don't, and just again, a really good life lesson. I can tell you for a fact it's helped me with being able to handle multiple things at once. This one fouled down the line. Kogut juggles it and comes up with it and fires a strike right back to the pitcher, Sauceville, on the foul ball by Perilli. Good hands by Mike Kogut that time. You don't always see that from base coaches, but Kogut did a good job there. And Perilli swings and misses. And so that'll end the inning. Watertown adds another on the sacrifice fly. It's now 9-2 as we end the third inning of play.
Consider Watertown International Airport for your travel needs. American Airlines flies.
Well, thoughts on the game? They didn't get started very good, did they?
Yeah.
Tough night for Watertown. It's one of those things. It seems like they start a little bit slow most nights, but what do you think? They have a comeback in them tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see it happening. I could see it happening. I've seen it before. That's a good answer, for sure. Good answer. Thursday night they were trailing, and in the 8th inning, Pranav Sundar, who's not playing tonight, at least not yet, came up with 2 guys on, and Ed over next door, who runs the video part of the scoreboard, said, you know, if Pranav hits a home run right here and then they have 3 quick outs in the top of the 9th, we could be out of here, and that's exactly what happened. So I think we just need Ed to tell everybody that they're going to come back, because obviously he's got the magic touch over there. As it is, Watertown trails 9-2. Watertown Rapids Baseball brought to you by NBC Watertown. And again, a huge thank you to the Youth Alliance of Jefferson County and the Alliance for Better Communities. Really admirable programs teaching youth responsibility and trying to limit youth addiction and substance abuse. Always a bonus. And so again, a huge thank you to everybody from Youth Alliance of Jefferson County. Heidi, thank you very much for joining us, and appreciate it very much for everything you do for our community, for our youth, and for getting all these youth here to the Watertown Rapids baseball game tonight. Again, thank you.
Now batting, number 12, Gage Miller from Vision State Community College. Number 12.
So again, thank you to the Youth Alliance of Jefferson County, the Alliance for Better Communities as well, as we get set for the top of the 4th inning. It'll be the leadoff hitter, designated hitter, Gage Miller. Steps to the dish for the Mohawks, and there's a little bit of that breeze. Just as Heidi and everybody else leaving the booth, the wind starts up a little bit again. 2-0 quickly from Flyzik to Miller here in the top of the 4th inning. Now went in for a strike, 2-1. Miller walked in the first. And a swing and a miss there. It's 2-2. If you're just joining us, Amsterdam struck early and often. 7 runs in the top of the first. Went walk, walk. Error. Single, 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 hit by pitch. Fly out, error, sacrifice fly. is how the first inning went, and Amsterdam quickly jumped out to a 7-0 lead before Watertown even had a chance to get a bat in their hands. Watertown loaded the bases in the bottom of the first, but only scratched across one, and then had chances in the second. Flaherty with the leadoff single, and then in the third, able to tack one on for sac fly. It was Nick Mazzata, flew out down the right field line. This one popped up by Miller, and Perilli right underneath it. Quentin Perilli makes the catch right on the foul line to retire Gage Miller. So one out after Miller pops out to the first baseman Perilli. And the Tully strikeout batter Brewer Webster steps in. Again, if Brewer Webster strikes out, the beer and wine slushy price here at Toyota Field is reduced for the rest of the inning. Of course, that doesn't help you watching at home, but always good to give a word to those who make things possible for us. Tully's a big supporter for the Watertown Rapids, as they were last year as well. Webster watches that one skip in low. It's 2-0. Webster walk and then a single. 1 for 1 on the night. Delivery from Flyzik in there for a strike, and it's 2-1. Well, the Rapids with Hagman in there at short now, replacing Myers a couple innings ago, is about as good an infield defense as you could expect for them, with Moynihan at second, Hageman at short, and Mazzata at third. The outfield from left to right is Grandelli, Locurdo, and Flaherty. McCann, the catcher, and Mike Flyzik in relief for Corey Arthur. Here's the pitch from Flyzik. That one dribbled foul down the first baseline. Pretty full stands down the third baseline and behind home plate as well here at Toyota Field at the Alex Duffy Fairgrounds, home of the Watertown Rapids, on a beautiful sunny July night. It's July 1st. This one to Hagman at short. Fields on the backhand. The throw is going to be well late and skips past Perilli, well backed up by McCann. And that's going to be an infield single for Brewer Webster. So Cam Gurney will step to the plate with a runner on first and one out. And a 7-run lead. 9-2 is the score. Webster at first after the infield single. Gurney, as I mentioned earlier in the night, with that ridiculous batting average on the season. This one hit down the left field line. That's going to get out of play. 0-1. Coming into the night, Cam Gurney was hitting .589 to start play this evening. 15 RBIs, 4 walks, 4 hit by pitch, only 3 strikeouts on the season. He's reached on an error twice tonight. Both of those errors charged to the shortstop Brett Myers, who was then replaced defensively by Colin Hageman. 1-1. Ball up the middle. And Hagman throws to first in time for the double play. And Gurney retired for the third time and reached twice, but both of those on errors. And then the double play, good turn by Colin Hagman at short for the 6-6-3 double play. And that'll end the top of the fourth. And Watertown holds Amsterdam off the board for the first half inning of the game so far. It's 9-2 as we head to the middle of the fourth. One hit, nobody left. As Webster was erased on the double play. Jay Madison on the field announcing the, I believe that's South Jeff Softball All-Stars down there on the field, part of the fan base that's here courtesy of the Youth Alliance of Jefferson County, paying for all youth tonight to be at the Watertown Rapids. Ages 6 to 18 all got in free courtesy of the Youth Alliance. And a huge thank you to them on behalf of the Watertown Rapids, but also on behalf of NBC Watertown. And it was a pleasure having Heidi and the rest of the Youth Alliance crew up here for an inning or so, having discussions about their ambitions, their goals, their good work in the community, the Youth Alliance of Jefferson County. Leading off the inning for the Watertown Rapids is the left fielder, number 23, Gayton Grandelli.
Leading off for the Rapids this inning from Westchester University,
Grandelli, power threat. Couple of home runs. One of those was a grand slam for Gayton Grandelli. This one fouled straight back. Flaherty on deck for the Rapids. It's Malachi Flaherty getting the start in right field tonight. Mike Norton, who's usually patrolling the corner outfield, is the extra hitter tonight. And another one fouled directly back, quickly 0-2 for Gayton Grandelli. This one up the middle and fielded by the shortstop. Grandelli's going to beat it out. And so an infield single for Gayton Grandelli, as Webster unable to come up with that one quickly and throw in time to get Grandelli. An infield single for the left fielder. A little bit of deceptive quickness for Gayton Grandelli that time. He's a bigger guy, muscular guy, but showed some speed off there as well to get down the line and beat that one out for an infield single. And that'll bring up Malachi Flaherty with no outs and one on. Flaherty singled earlier in the game. This one does the same thing, and Flaherty back-to-back singles. Both for him and for the Watertown Rapids to start this inning. And there's quickly two men on and nobody out. And now Mike Norton steps to the plate. A little Coolio, Gangsta's Paradise, Mike's walk-up song. Mike had some good walk-up songs last year as well. He knows how to pick them. Men on first and second, nobody out for Norton. The lefty against the lefty pitcher Sauceville. Delivery. Low, 1-0. Grandelli on second, Flaherty on first, Mike Norton the batter with nobody out in the bottom of the fourth inning. Sauceville's delivery is high, and a really good job by the catcher, Hubbard, to stop that one from going all the way to the backstop. And it's 2-0. Well, Hubbard made a heroic play right there. Very easily could have been runners at second and third and nobody out. But jumping up to stop that one and reel it in. Holds the runners, first and second. Nobody out. 2-0 the count. Sauceville delivers and swing and a miss from Norton on a pitch in the dirt on about the 58-foot breaking ball. It's 2-1. The 2-1 from Sauceville to Norton is hit up the middle. Fielded, flipped to second, and the turn not in time for the double play. Well, the turn at short from Webster to Irizarry, able to get one out, but not the second, as Norton able to beat it out at first. So one out, runners on the corners now, as Flaherty's erased at second. And stepping in freshly into the game is Colin Hagman, came in at shortstop to replace Brett Myers. Hagman, swing and a miss, 0-1. Big hack that time from Hagman. Ball one, it's 1-1. One out, runners on the corners in the bottom of the fourth inning. Watertown trailing 9-2. Still working on cutting into that large deficit they picked up early. That one's in for a strike, and it's 1-2 to Hagman. The Rapids got ambushed tonight by the Mohawks. Gave up 7 runs in the top of the first and still trying to claw their way back. Hagman, liner up the middle, is dropped intentionally, and wait to see the signal. They are going to signal double play. No. They're going to rule out on the catch. And Norton's going to stay on first, and Grandelli will stay at third. So Hagman will line out to the second baseman. Irizarry caught that one and dropped it immediately, trying to kind of bait his way into a double play there. That's a play we've seen in the major leagues. Second baseman or a shortstop will intentionally drop one that they know they can catch and then turn two. But the umpire is going to say that it was a catch and not a double play. So it will be Hagman erased on the line out to the second baseman, Irizarry. And so there's 2 outs, runners on the corners. And the leadoff hitter, center fielder, Licurdo in, swinging and fouling that one back, 0-1. So an interesting play there. The umpire's discretion was that it was an out at second on the line out, and that was the extent of the play. Second pitch to Licurdo, foul line down the third baseline, and playing towards the line was the third baseman, Gurney. Made the play, threw it over to first in a really solid effort by Longo to stay on the bag, but he came off of the bag in his attempt to catch that ball, Longo. And so the Mohawks unable to get the out on the ground ball to the third baseman, Gurney. And Licurdo safe at first. The run comes in. And it's now 9-3. Sauceville's delivery, and Moynihan flies it out to center field over his DeBose, who reels it in one-handed. Easy catch for DeBose in center. And the Rapids will leave runners on first and third, but they had another run on the ground ball to third. Wait to see the scoreboard has that listed as an error, so I'll believe that our stats man, Nate, has ruled that an error on the third baseman, Webster, or Gurney rather, who made a good play initially to get to that ball, but the throw pulled the first baseman, Longo, off the bag. And so that'll be an error which allowed Licurdo to reach and a run to score. So it should be an unearned run. The Rapids pick up their third of the night. As we're at the top of the fifth now. Mike Fleisig still in pitching for the Rapids. Came in to start the second inning. He's given up a couple of runs, but done a commendable job out of the bullpen in a game where I'm not sure he was necessarily expecting to come in at least as early as he did. A game where Corey Arthur, the starter, just never really got into any sort of rhythm at all. Walked the first couple of hitters. His defense behind him didn't help too much either. Had a couple of errors in that first inning and a couple of singles up the middle. One belted out to left field off the wall by Longo. And Arthur didn't survive past the first. As we get set for the top of the fifth, a reminder that tonight the Watertown Rapids, as well as the NBC Watertown broadcast of Watertown Rapids, is sponsored by the Youth Alliance of Jefferson County. An 8th grader from the Youth Alliance would like to remind you to make safe choices while doing activities this summer. And an 11th grader from the Youth Alliance wants to remind you that if it feels wrong, that it is wrong. The Youth Alliance committed to stopping addiction and substance abuse among youth in our North Country. That one immediately, first pitch of the inning, is thrown right off of Luke Longo's side, hit by pitch. And he'll take his way down to first base as Jackson West will step in with a runner on now and nobody out. West already with a single and an RBI in this game. That one flied out to right field, and Flaherty, tracking it out near the warning track, makes the catch. And Longo, he'll have to retreat back to first. West retired on the fly ball to right field. And Dakota Duffalo will step to the plate. He's got a couple of singles and an RBI tonight. Duffalo 2 for 2 with an RBI. This one high, 1-0. Well, the home plate umpire just said something directed in the general direction of the Watertown dugout. Not exactly certain what that one was about. This one fouled. Chasing it is Mazzata, and making the catch is Nick Mazzata over his shoulder on a full sprint into foul territory behind third base. And Duffalo retired for the first time tonight on the pop out to the third baseman, Nick Mazzata. Really good play by Nick to turn around and track that one over his shoulder, making the catch on the run, full sprint really, down the left field line behind third base. And so Jalen DeBose, the center fielder, will step in with 2 outs and man on first. That went in for the strike. Looked like DeBose wanted to take a hack at it. Elected not to, but it was in the zone anyway. 0-1. DeBose up the middle, base hit. And rounding second, Longo, he's going to stay put. So it's a single for Jalen DeBose. His second of the night. He's got a couple of singles now and a hit by pitch that drove in a run with the bases loaded, Jalen DeBose. And he reaches on the single up the middle. Men on first and second for the catcher, Bryce Hubbard. He's got a sacrifice fly. Flew out, well, popped out to the pitcher, Corey Arthur, in the first inning. Well, it was the first out of the game for the Mohawks. This one high out of the strike zone, 1-0. Couple of men on here. Mike Flyzik looking to strand them. Delivers to the plate. Missed outside. 2-0. Longo at second, DeBose on first. And a big hack. Throw back to second, and really good effort from Hageman to pick that one, prevent it from going into the outfield. Good idea for McCann, but the throw skipped in. And Colin Hageman did his best to keep it in front of him. Otherwise, Longo probably would have gotten up and made his way to third. On the back pick attempt from David McCann. 2-1. High and outside, 3-1. Hubbard now in a real hitter's count, 3-1 with a runner in scoring position. And watches that one outside for ball 4, and that'll load the bases for the second baseman, Alex Irizarry. Irizarry reached on an error in the first inning. Error against Perilli, the first baseman, and then flew out to right field in his second trip. 0 for 2. Flyzik comes set, delivers to the plate. And in the air down the right field line, Flaherty looks like he has room, and he does to make the catch to retire the side. So Flaherty able to reel that one in on the warning track. Couple of deep fly balls in that inning against Mike Flyzik, but he keeps the Mohawks off the board yet again. It's 9-3 as we head to the middle of the 5th inning. So as we head towards the bottom of the 5th inning, and SpongeBob SquarePants now playing over the speaker system here. A little bit of feedback there. Jay Madison getting a little close to the press box up here. I'm joined by Caitlin from the Alliance for Better Communities. Caitlin, why don't you, if you can hear yourself think over the SpongeBob music, why don't you tell us a little bit about the Alliance for Better Communities?
Yeah, so we work in prevention, so helping people preventing substance and alcohol use. So we provide a lot of harm reduction. I do Narcan training.
Gotcha. Yes, the feedback from Jay's microphone, they're making it really tough to hear yourself even think there. But, so similar to the Youth Alliance, but...
Yeah, we both work together, but yeah, the Youth Alliance focuses more on the youth, and then I'm focusing on the rest of the community, older adults, parents, friends, family of people in recovery or struggling. So yeah, if people want to get in contact with us, like I said, harm reduction, Narcan training, things like that, and we're here to help.
Sounds good. Again, pretty hard to complain with that. It's a problem that seems like it's become more prevalent
Exactly.
in recent years, especially.
And I try and break stigmas around it too, because a lot of people have a thought of who's going to be using, but nowadays you never really know, and a lot of people are still prescribed opioids, and they may just forget they take so many or mix it with alcohol or just have a natural reaction. So, and we do offer xylazine and fentanyl test strips too. So if people are using and they want to test their stuff to make sure it's not laced with anything, we offer those for free.
Yeah, those are excellent services. Obviously, I mean, part of it is understanding that you're never going to completely stop drug use and abuse, right? So doing everything within your power to, obviously the goal is prevention. But again, anything you can do to make it safer for those using.
Yeah, that's our
as
mission.
a bonus is your goal, really.
Yeah.
Set to lead off the inning for the Rapids is the designated hitter, Jax Miller. Watertown's really probably best hitter, it'd be fair to say. He's 361 coming into the night. So again, a real partnership with the Youth Alliance. As you mentioned, that one flied out to left field, and Miller retired on just one pitch. How long has the Alliance for Better Communities been around?
Ooh,
Didn't mean to put you on
I
the
was
spot
like,
there.
I was like, Lonnie, do you know when it started? I should know that.
I know that the Alliance for Better Communities has been around longer than
Yeah,
the Youth Alliance.
the Youth Alliance, I don't want to get this wrong, but I think the Youth Alliance started in 2020. But the Alliance has been around, but our goal, and we've been working really well, is to expand and get throughout all. Jefferson County is our focus, so.
And you all are the pivot. So
Yep. We're under the Pivot umbrella, so yeah, Youth Alliance, Alliance for Better Communities. We offer student assistance programs, employee assistance programs, impaired driving lessons, and education. So
Yeah, really just important services that I think can be overlooked. People don't understand or really necessarily even know or think about these type of things that affect other people in the community.
right, and we want to let the community know we're here for them, and then we love to get feedback from the community and what else we can do to be there and help them. So. And anyone's always welcome to stop by if they need anything or give us a call. Like I said, our harm reduction is free, so that's resources you can just come and grab, or I'm willing to go to people and educate them as well. So
It's the type of thing, yeah, no, sorry.
doing
I
what
didn't
we
mean to cut you
can,
off, but
yeah.
no, it's the type of thing that, again, you just can't thank people enough for that sort of effort. McCann just able to get out of the way of that one down in near his feet. And it's 2-2 to the Rapids catcher, David McCann. I'll ask you the same question I asked Heidi earlier. Big baseball fan. Enjoy the baseball? Is it?
I don't know much about it, but I'm one of those people that loves the days where you can just go out and like go with people and just sit on a nice day and enjoy it. So, and yeah, we're thankful to be that you guys invited us here to be here. And so the feedback from the crowd, everyone seems to be enjoying it, and so it's a good time.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Certainly, that's the goal, and I'm really fortunate to be involved. McCann lined into left field and off the wall on a bounce. McCann rounding first. He's going to head into second, standing up. David McCann with a stand-up double off the wall in left field. And interrupting my train of thought. No, I was going to say I'm pretty fortunate to be able to be involved with both the Rapids as well as NBC here. And it's kind of the goal for the Rapids is just to be one of those places where people can just go to have a good time. I think that's the goal. So it's reassuring to hear you say that.
Yeah.
It's been a positive experience for you.
It's like you get to see the community come together for things like this. And
That's another thing they really like to do as an organization is have these types of outings where groups are welcomed. And as I mentioned earlier, Thursday night was Lime, Chameau, 3 Mile Bay kind of community night, and so good crowd from there, and just always fun to see. Pickoff move. McCann dives back in safely. Good move from the pitcher there. Nearly got McCann sleeping at second. No, it's always good to see groups like this come out and support the Rapids and vice versa.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very beneficial for both parties, you know, working together. And
that's what it should be all about in a community like this.
I agree.
Mazzata with a single through the left side. McCann's going to be sent home. Strong throws cut off, and McCann scores on the single by Nick Mazzata, his second RBI, third RBI of the night, actually, for Nick Mazzata. As McCann comes around to score, and it's now 9-4. I'll ask you again another question I asked Heidi earlier, and do you think they got the comeback in them? It's something
I always believe there's a potential for comeback.
have seen so often. This one gets away from the catcher, and Mazzata's going to make his way down to second. This is a team, even last year, there's only some of the same players, too, so it's interesting to see that. But it seems like they're one of those teams that, even if they start slow, they always seem to come back and have a little bit of fight in them, and they've done that tonight. It's been slow but sure, and they've cut it down to 9-4 now and threatening again. 1 out, runner on second, and Perilli the batter.
Yeah, I believe there's always a way to turn things around, and it's fun to watch when that happens, too.
Well, it's a good parallel to what you strive to promote at the Alliance for Better Communities as well, right? Is that there's always a way for a comeback. We love a good underdog story, and any chance for anybody to turn things around. Perilli's hit by the pitch, and he'll head down to first. And Grandelli will come to the plate now. The runner's on first and second.
Number 23, Grandelli.
1 out still. Runners on first and second. Gaten Grandelli stepping to the plate. Well, we've seen a lot of things tonight, but we haven't seen a home run yet. This would be a good time for one. Grandelli at the plate. Rapids down 5. A couple of runners on for Grandelli. He's going to bunt, and he offered, so strike 1 on the bunt for Grandelli. Maybe just looking to catch the Mohawk infield a little unaware. Grandelli singled earlier in the game. Long hold, and here's the pitch. Popped up by Grandelli. That one's going to get out of play down the third baseline. And 0-2 now to Grandelli. Well, I was saying earlier, it's a really beautiful night for baseball. It's a little stuffy in here. How is it out? Outside of the press box.
It
Pretty
feels
nice.
great. Like, we're happy it didn't end up raining, so it didn't get canceled. When we first got here, it was a little humid and muggy, but now the breeze is perfect, so it's like one of the best nights to be here.
Well, we've had some weather nights like that. We had a game get canceled. I can't remember. I think it was Sunday due to rain, and it was one of those just really bizarre lake effect things where you looked at the radar and there was no rain anywhere in the area except for directly over Watertown. And so the game got rained out Sunday night. And then the smoke from Canada has been another thing that's been really bizarre. That was a little bit of a factor on Thursday night. It was a little bit smoky and hazy, but tonight, just really beautiful night for baseball. Just a beautiful night to be out and about. So it seems like you picked a good night.
Yes, we're so happy about that.
Swing and a miss from Grandelli. And he's retired on strikes. And Flaherty will be tasked with trying to drive in Zada from second. And so as Flaherty steps up here towards the end of the 5th inning, once again, we'd just like to thank the Alliance for Better Communities, Caitlin, for joining us up here in the booth.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
We appreciate it again very much. Flaherty flies this one directly up over shortstop and reeled in by the shortstop, Brewer Webster. And so we will head to the bottom of the 5th inning. And again, just thank you to the Alliance for Better Communities and to Caitlin for joining us up here in the booth.
If you want to get in contact with us, you can call 315-788-4660.
There you go. The Alliance for Better Communities, again, thank you for joining us and for being involved for NBC's broadcast of Watertown Rapids baseball. Rapids trying to fight back in this one. They got behind early, and they've just been clawing their way back slowly. It's 9-4 as we head to the top of the 6th inning. And Mike Fleisig still on the mound for the Watertown Rapids. It'll be the right fielder Carlos Martinez to lead off the inning for the Mohawks as we start the 6th. Martinez with a sac fly in the 1st inning of play. And he'll step to the plate now as we start the 6th. Just after 8 o'clock here on a beautiful Saturday evening, 1st of July. And if the weather is anything to go by, the rest of the month should be beautiful. It's just an absolutely gorgeous night for baseball, for really anything you'd want to do outdoors in the North Country on a Saturday evening. First pitch of the inning from Fleisig. Misses for ball 1. Martinez, as I said, had a sac fly in that 1st inning. Part of a 7-run 1st inning for the Amsterdam Mohawks. Fleisig misses way upstairs, and it's 3-0. Martinez, the 10 hitter in the order for the Mohawks. 10 hitters in the lineup for either team tonight because of the extra hitter rule as part of the Perfect Game Collegiate Baseball League. Teams get a designated hitter and an extra hitter if they choose. Some teams decide not to use the extra hitter on occasion. Coach Kogut and the Rapids almost always use the extra hitter. That one's flown out to center field, and Licurdo settles underneath it to reel it in for the 1st out of the 5th. 6th, rather. And they're back to the top of the order for the Mohawks. It'll be the designated hitter, Gage Miller. It's actually, looks like it's going to be a pinch hitter. It's going to be Eddie Yaman, the pinch hitter for Gage Miller, which is something to keep an eye on. See if Yaman just stays as the designated hitter, which Miller was to start the night. This is also something we saw the last time the Mohawks were in town. They like to make a whole host of changes late in the game, which can be difficult for us to follow up in the booth. Yaman flies this one out to left center, and Grandelli settles under that one to reel it in. It's the second out. So fly out to the left fielder. Grandelli able to reel that one in, and now it'll be the shortstop Brewer, Webster, the Tully strikeout batter for tonight. Two outs here in the top of the sixth. Flyzik has settled in nicely here in his fifth inning of work, and that one reeled in by Grandelli as well off the bat of Webster. And so 1-2-3 inning for Mike Flyzik, who's now put up 3 shutout innings in a row. And the Rapids will head back to the plate, trailing by 5. 9-4 is the score. Here, the middle of the 6th inning. And Jay Madison on the field with the members for the Youth Alliance and the Alliance for Better Communities. Lonnie and Heidi, Caitlin, who we spoke to earlier, all down on the field now speaking with Jay Madison as the teams get set for switch of sides. It's the middle of the 6th inning.
Jefferson County and Alliance for Better Communities.
Well, the Youth Alliance for Jefferson County, we work with youth throughout Jefferson County to kind of empower them and educate them on the risks and realities of substance use, alcohol use, and nicotine misuse.
So it's really important, given everything that's going on with drug addiction and stuff. You play an important role in helping try to counter some of that.
Absolutely, yeah. We work with a lot of the different schools throughout the county, and we do meetings throughout the school year. We're doing meetings through the summer to help keep kids engaged and aware of just what's happening in their environment.
All right, thank you very much for the work that you do, and it is so critically important. Thank you very much. Fans, let's hear it for the Alliance for Better Communities and the Youth Alliance of Jefferson County. Thank you very much for sponsoring us tonight and the work that you're doing. Thank you very much.
So as we get set to start the bottom of the 6th, Mike Norton to lead off for the Watertown Rapids. Joey Colucci is pitching for Amsterdam. I regrettably missed announcing Colucci when he came on to pitch last inning. Joey Colucci. Tall, lanky pitcher. Norton fouled off down the left field line. Well, that one landed just foul, I think, right down the left field line. Trying to lean out of the window up here in the booth and get a good look at it, and it was really pretty much right on the line. The umpire, home plate umpire, signal foul ball, and Norton will try again now with an 0-1 count. Mike Norton with a strike and then a strikeout and then a fielder's choice. 0-1 swung on and missed in the dirt. 0-2. Norton getting him really a half a day off, the extra hitter tonight, instead of playing in right field like he normally is. 0-2, that one's inside, 1-2. Ball missed in. And Norton stays alive. The 1-2 from Colucci. A little bit of a sidearm delivery, and that one's fouled off at the plate. So Norton again hanging in there, staying alive. And another 1-2 from the right-hander Joey Colucci. This one high, 2-2. So Norton making Colucci work. And it's 2-2. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 6th. Norton foul tipped in and out of the glove of the catcher, Bryce Hubbard. And that will be a foul ball. Keeps Norton alive. It's 2-2. Umpire walking the ball out to pitcher Joey Colucci, giving the catcher Hubbard a bit of a break after he took that one. It looked like maybe off of the mask. Foul ball in and out of the glove and then out of the mask of the catcher Hubbard. 2-2 to Norton. Misses down and away, full count. So a really terrific at-bat from Mike Norton, regardless of outcome, able to fight back from being down 0-2. Fouled off a couple of tough pitches, and now it's full. That one pounded down the first baseline, foul. And Norton hangs in there yet again. Well, the Rapids bench is pretty thrilled with the fight Mike Norton's put up so far. Worked it back from 0-2 to full and then fouled that one off to stay alive. Here comes another 3-2 from Colucci. Swing and a miss. And Joey Colucci wins the battle there as he gets Norton to strike out. Second strikeout of the night for Norton. And that'll bring up Colin Hagman to the plate with one out and nobody on. Hagman lined out to the second baseman on that strange play where Irizarry caught the ball and then let it drop intentionally, trying to get a double play. Umpire was having none of it. And so Hagman lined out on that play. Could have been a double play, but instead just a one out. One and one from Colucci to Hagman. And in play towards the middle, diving just out of the reach of Irizarry. And it falls in for a base hit. Colin Hagman with a single up the middle. And we're back to the top of the lineup for the Rapids. Nick Licurdo, the center fielder, steps in. Walk, reach on an error as well. And up now, again, the center fielder from Virginia Tech, Nick Licurdo. Man on first and one out. And lined into the gap of shortstop and third for a single. Hagman moves to second, and Licurdo picks up a single. Terrence Moynihan steps to the plate now for the Rapids with men on first and second and one out. Moynihan flew out to right field and then struck out looking. Looking to produce something a little more productive here with runners on first and second, down by 5 in the bottom of the 6th. First pitch to Moynihan, down and away, blocked by Hubbard. Long wait from Colucci. He comes set now. 1-0. Dribbled towards first. Fielded there. Toss to Colucci covering. And the out. So Moynihan retired on the 3-1 putout. And so Jax Miller steps to the plate. Runners on second and third as both runners advanced on that play. But there's 2 outs now. So Miller will have to find some grass in the outfield or find a hole in the infield to drive home the runs now with 2 outs. That went in for a strike. It's 0-1. Colucci comes set and delivers. That one inside, 1-1. Hagman at third, Licurdo at second. The ball gets away from the catcher, Hubbard. He has no idea where it is, and Hagman's going to score easily standing up. And Licurdo makes it to third. So the pass ball scores a run. And Colin Hagman comes across to make it 9-5 in favor of the visiting Mohawks. Nick Licurdo makes his way to third. That one got through the wickets of Hubbard. He had no idea where it went. Stood up and looked immediately directly in front of him. It was well behind him, got all the way to the backstop and allowed Hagman to score easily, standing up from third on the pass ball. It's 9-5. That one called a strike. Looked inside, and Miller tried to back away from it, but the umpire behind the dish calling it a strike. It's 2-2. And Miller goes down swinging after a questionable strike 2 call. Forced to expand the zone a little bit, and he goes down swinging to end the inning. Watertown gets another one on the pass ball, but unable to, again, put together a big inning. They've scored 1 in the first, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth for a total of 5. They trail 9-5 after 6 innings. Watertown will head out to take the field, and really, if you could just throw away the first inning, that'd be great. Unfortunately, that's definitely not possible. They gave up 7. They got absolutely ambushed early in the game. And now on the pitch for the Watertown Rapids is number 27, Corey Roberts. Got to give a shout out to Corey Roberts out of South Jefferson. That's my alma mater. And always cool to see somebody from your high school playing at this level. Corey Roberts on the pitch now for the Rapids. And we'll see what he's able to do. It's top of the 7th inning coming up. 9-5 is the score. Roberts, the lefty, warming up. As you hear public address announcer Dan Dallin talk about the fireworks extravaganza after the game Monday, July 3rd. Watertown Rapids will have a fireworks display after the game on Monday. Reminder from the Youth Alliance of Jefferson County. An 8th grader from the Youth Alliance wants to remind you to choose safe activities this summer and avoid substances like marijuana and alcohol that can cloud your judgment. And an 11th grader from the Youth Alliance wants to remind you that if they are really your friends, they won't care if you choose to not use substances. Good reminders there from our youth in the community, members of the Youth Alliance of Jefferson County, with advice that's pertinent for those of us of all ages. Stepping to the plate now for Amsterdam.
Number 3, second baseman, Alex Irizarry.
The announcement from Dan Dellen initially was number 3, Irizarry, which is who was due up, but it's actually number 9 for the Mohawks, and this one promptly popped up right to Moynihan at second base, who puts it away to retire the first hitter of the inning. And a good start for Roberts on the mound. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Now back, number 34, Luke Longo, number 34.
And so Luke Longo up to bat now. Longo with a single, and then hit into a double play, and then was hit in the back. Swings and fouls that one back. It's 0-2. Roberts with the hold, and now delivers to the plate. The lefty over the top, misses high and outside. It's 1-2. That one misses as well, and now it's 2-2 to the first baseman Longo. This one flown out to left field, and Grandelli there to put it away for the second out. So Roberts doing well to get a couple of quick outs here in the 7th inning. And striding in now is the extra hitter, Jackson West. West with a single that drove in a run in the first inning, and then fly out to center field in his second trip. Now up with nobody on and 2 outs in the top of the 7th. First pitch from Roberts to West. Missed somewhere, 1-0. Looked pretty good from up here, but might have been just high. And it's ball 1. Roberts now kicks and deals. The lefty over the top. Bunt. Pushed foul by West. Strike 2. Strike 1, rather. It's 1-1. Again, still caught up on that first pitch I thought was a strike, which wasn't called one. And so it's 1-1. Roberts comes set now. The 1-1 pitch to West. And West lines it to center field. Licurdo moving to his right. Reels it in the end the inning. 1-2-3 inning for Corey Roberts. The pitcher in relief for Mike Flyzik, who came in relief for Corey Arthur. Flyzik did an absolutely commendable job in relief, pitched 5 innings and did really well. Gave up 2 runs in those 5 innings. And so now we're at the 7th inning stretch. Watertown trailing 9-5. Take me out to the ball game. Jay Madison trying to get the fans involved, as he always does. It's a good crowd tonight. Upwards of 300 for the Rapids. Of course, all youth ages 6 to 18 got in free, courtesy of the Youth Alliance of Jefferson County and the Alliance for Better Communities. Which is just, again, an awesome initiative and organizations that are doing positive things in our community for the youth and for everyone else, those of us who really need it. The Youth Alliance and the Alliance for Better Communities deserve all the thanks they can get and all the thanks that we can give them. Leading off the inning for the Rapids will be the catcher, David McCann. And in the pitch for the Mohawks is Maximilian Ramirez, sorry. Ramirez, Niagara. And his first opponent will be David McCann. McCann with 2 walks and a double. Blasted the double off of the left field wall, opposite field double and opposite field power for David McCann, which is something that I think the folks at Virginia Tech will be excited about. McCann's ability to go to the opposite field with power. A lot of left-handed hitters can pull the ball with power, but to go to the opposite field is an impressive ability. McCann swings and misses. Big hack of that first pitch that was nowhere close, and it's 0-1. As I mentioned, McCann 1 for 1 with a double and a couple of walks. Checked it. I believe McCann's 1 for 2 with a double and a strikeout and a couple of walks. Either way, here he is, 1-1 with nobody out in the bottom of the 7th. That one misses low. It's 2-1. Set and the pitch in there for a strike, 2-2. Maximilian Ramirez out of California misses the zone. It's 3-2, full count for David McCann, the Rapids catcher. McCann pops this one up, but that is going to fall in for a single. Fell in front of the outfielder, DeBose, but in front of the infielder, the shortstop. It's actually not Brewer Webster out there as short anymore. I believe that it is Mason Swinney in a shortstop. And Nick Mazzata will come to the plate with nobody out, man on first, after McCann's bloop single into center field. Mazzata with 3 RBIs, a couple singles, and a sac fly. Driven in 3 of the Rapids' 5 runs. That one up and tight. Mazzata able to get out of the way, 1-0. Ramirez gets set. That one into the zone, 1-1. McCann over at first, not a very big lead. This is a situation where we've seen Rapids head coach Mike Kogut be aggressive on the base paths. But McCann not getting very far off at first, being held on over there as well. This one popped up into right field. Martinez there to reel it in for the first out. Now stepping to the plate is the first baseman, Quentin Pirelli. Pirelli playing first base tonight. First base is a spot that Watertown has struggled to fill so far this season. Had all sorts of guys bounce around and end up over there. Pirelli's played some first. Lockie Rees has played some first. Owen Parliament's played some first. This one saws Pirelli off, and it's going to fall in left field for a single. So a couple of bloop hits for the Rapids now, and they're in business. Pirelli with a single to left field. And now runners on first and second for Gaten Grandelli, the left fielder. It's Grandelli at the plate, not Flaherty. Flaherty's on deck. Grandelli now at the dish with runners at first and second, one out, in the bottom of the seventh. Ramirez checks second, now pitches. Grandelli through the infield, and holding at third is McCann. And a good decision, cannon throw for Martinez and right. So the bases will be loaded after Grandelli singles to the right side.
Now, I told you he was coming, and here he is, number 17,
Malachi Flaherty now batting. Number 17, the right fielder. Flaherty's got some real speed, so anything in the infield would be tough to turn two on him. And the Mohawks are going to bring the infield in up by 4 here in the bottom of the seventh. At least the corner's in. Middle infield had double play depth with the bases loaded. McCann here at third. Grandelli's at first. It's Pirelli at second. Pirelli, Grandelli. A couple of my favorite names to say on this team. Something about the double L's in the I. Rolls off the tongue pretty good when you're doing public address. Flaherty checks his swing. Did he go? No, says the field umpire. It's 2-0. Good stop behind the plate. Keep that one in front and prevent anything disastrous from happening. We saw one get by Hubbard earlier in this game. That scored a run. Bases loaded. One out. Flaherty. Pop foul and out of play. Two and one now from Ramirez to Flaherty. Bases loaded, one out. Right by Flaherty. It's 2-2. Malachi just outmatched by that fastball. Not sure if he was sitting something else. Either way, well late. 2-2 now with one out and the bases loaded. Ramirez. Flaherty swinging a miss. Ball gets away from the catcher. All the bases occupied. Flaherty is out, and there's 2 outs now. So Watertown again with the bases loaded and less than 2 outs, unable to score. At least for the time being. Norton will come up now with the bases loaded and 2 outs. McCann at third, Pirelli at second, and Grandelli at first for the Barracuda, Mike Norton, left-handed batter. And the extra hitter spot, hitting 9th in the order. A couple of strikeouts for Norton and a fielder's choice. First pitch from Ramirez, low. Good block to keep that one pretty close and prevent any sort of advancement from any of the runners. 1-0. Two outs here in the bottom of the seventh. Bases loaded. Rapids down by 4. That one in for a strike. It's 1-1 to Mike Norton. Hageman on deck, came in to replace Myers defensively. Hageman's lined out and singled. Norton, a couple of strikeouts and a fielder's choice. This one fouled off, and it's 1-2. And now Maximilian Ramirez, 1 strike away from getting out of this without giving anything up. One and 2 count as Ramirez comes set. Bases loaded for Mike Norton. Here's the pitch. Norton swings and misses. Or are they going to say foul ball? Norton just got a piece of that one, able to foul it off and stay alive. And that's a huge call. As Norton just barely able to get a piece of it and stay in the at-bat. So the count remains 1-2 after the foul tip. The extra hitter, Mike Norton at the dish with the bases loaded and 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th. Norton, the tying run at the plate. Swing and a miss from Norton in the dirt. And the catcher's just going to step on the plate, get the force. And the inning is over. Watertown loads the bases again and again, unable to score. As Norton strikes out to end the inning. Flaherty and Norton both swinging at pitches in the dirt and both striking out in a big spot with the bases loaded. Rapids come up short yet again in the bottom of the 7th. It's 9-5 as we head to the top of the 8th. So it's Corey Roberts back out to pitch the 8th inning for the Rapids. Roberts came in, pitched a 1-2-3 7th in relief of Mike Flyzik, who pitched 5 innings in relief for the starter Corey Roberts. Corey Arthur, rather. Corey Roberts is the man on the mound now. A couple of Coreys involved for Watertown. David McCann just now getting his gear back on after he was left out on 3rd base in that last inning. Watertown left the bases loaded in the 7th. Not the first time they've done that tonight. They could really be right in this game. They still are. It's only 9-5 as we head into the 8th inning, but Watertown's had plenty of opportunities to close the gap even further than they have. Never been able to score more than just the 1 run in an inning. And they trail 9-5 as we start the 8th. So stepping to the plate, I believe, is number 8, Jared Johnson. And it is number 8, Jared Johnson.
For the Mohawks, number 8, Jared Johnson. Number 8.
Get the confirmation announcement from public address announcer tonight, Dan Dallin. Roberts kicks and deals, lefty over the top again, and misses high. 1-1. Johnson, a left-handed hitter against the lefty pitcher, takes that one down and in. 2-1. Crowd has come to a bit of a lull here in the 8th inning. That one misses high from Roberts, who looks like he might have stumbled a little bit as he followed through throwing that pitch. Kicks the dirt on the mound a little bit, readjusts, and gets ready to fire in the 2-1 pitch. That one ripped down the line for a base hit. And Johnson taking a big turn at first. He's going to head back, though. Not going to force Flaherty into making a really intense throw. And so Jalen DeBose, the center fielder, will step in to hit for the Mohawks. So Jared Johnson hitting in the place of Dakota Duffalo. And now Jalen DeBose at the dish. Takes a strike. It's 0-1. Roberts with a man on first. Perilli over there holding Johnson at first. Roberts takes another look, takes a second look, deals to the plate, and misses. 1-1. Again, that's a pitch that looked pretty good from up here, but ruled a ball. And so it's 1-1 to DeBose. That one gets away from the catcher McCann. Bounced in front of him, and I believe that'll be ruled a wild pitch. And it's Roberts. And so moving down to second is Johnson on a wild pitch. It's 2-1. The count to center fielder Jalen DeBose for the Amsterdam Mohawks. This one hit to third. Mazzata looks the runner back, throws to first, gets the out there. And Johnson forced to stay at second. So good play, heads-up play from Nick Mazzata to look the runner back to second, make a good throw over to first base, and get the first out of the inning. And now one down, runner on second.
Now batting, number 10, Zach Eldred.
For the Amsterdam Mohawks, and in the bat is number 10, Zach Eldred. Again, lefty-lefty matchup. Roberts to Eldred. That one in there for a strike, 0-1. Roberts gets ahead with a first pitch strike. Lacurto really deep in center field. Pitch to Eldred. Breaking ball misses high. 1-1. The lights are on now as the sun is set. And it is cooled down a little bit here in Watertown, Toyota Field, at the Alex T. Duffy Fairgrounds in the heart of Watertown. That one gets away from McCann briefly, but able to corral it quickly and keep Johnson at second. It's 2-1, the count now to Eldred. Once again, the Mohawks do not disappoint. They make all sorts of substitutions late in the game. Eldred hitting in the place of the catcher Bryce Hubbard, and swings and misses there for strike two. It's 2-2. Two and two is the count now for Eldred as he steps in. Wide stance for Zach Eldred. Bent slightly at the knees, feet spread way apart. Roberts kicks and deals. That one pulled well foul. And might have hit one of his own teammates. Eldred with that foul ball over in the direction of the Amsterdam dugout. Two and two. Runner on second is Jared Johnson for the Mohawks. Hagman stepping in. That one misses high, and it's a full count to Zach Eldred. One out in the top of the 8th inning. Amsterdam leading 9-5 on the back of 9 hits and 3 Watertown errors. Roberts long hold. Here's the pitch. Fouled off right at the plate. And it rolls into foul territory. Eldred stays alive on the full count pitch. It will just fouled off. Reach out and poke it into foul territory. Approaching 9 o'clock here as we are in the top of the 8th inning. First pitch was scheduled for 6. I think we started probably about 6:05. Roberts again. Fouled off at the plate. Eldred rather. Doing a really good job staying alive. Fighting for everything at the plate. Zach Eldred. Again, really wide stance for the Mohawks batter. That one misses. And war of attrition, Zach Eldred wins. Wears down Corey Roberts, forces a walk.
Now batting, number 3, Alex Arizali, number 3.
And now batting for the Mohawks will be the second baseman Irizarry, and Coach Kogut's going to head out to the mound and have a discussion with Corey Roberts. I wonder if we might see a change from Kogut, or if he's just heading out there to maybe buy some time for whoever's up in the bullpen. Fortunately, we can't see from here who's in the bullpen, if anyone, for the Rapids. Nobody up down that first base right field line for the Mohawks. So you'd figure Maximilian Ramirez will be out there to pitch the 8th, the bottom of the 8th, when we get there. For now, it's just a talking to for Corey Roberts from head coach Mike Kogut. And Roberts will be tasked with facing another lefty, Alex Irizarry, the second baseman. He's reached on an error and then flied out to center twice. And on first and second, after the walk to Zach Eldred. This one popped up on the first pitch. And Hagman calling, reels it in for the second out. So one pitch, one out. Alex Irizarry pops out to the shortstop, Colin Hagman. And that'll bring up the right fielder, number 14, Carlos Martinez. Martinez with a sac fly out to center as well. Runners on first and second. Johnson on second and Eldred on first. Pitch from Roberts is fouled off down the third baseline, picked up by the Mohawks third base coach. Quickly 0-1. Roberts looking for a big out here. A couple of runners on. And this one popped up, and it's going to get out of play on this near side. So 0-2 after the foul ball. Foul will pop up to the third base side, got out of play. And it's an 0-2 count to the right fielder, Martinez. Martinez, the 10 hitter in the lineup for the Mohawks, and then it'll be back to the top where it's Eddie Yaman, who came into the game and pinch hit for Miller. And swing and a miss. Martinez goes down on strikes, and Roberts works out of a little bit of a jam. And we're headed to the bottom of the 8th. Roberts able to strand a couple of runners on first and second, and Watertown with a chance now here in the bottom of the 8th, down by 4. 9-5 is the score. Watertown have had opportunities. They've had 13 hits tonight and only managed to score 5. 1 Amsterdam error as well. And the Rapids just unable to get that big hit when they've really needed it. They've had runners in scoring position, it seems like every inning. Had the bases loaded a couple of different times, but only ever scored 1 in an inning. They've done that 5 separate times. The 1st, the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Nothing in the 7th. And now here in the 8th. They'll look to get a little bit closer. It's Maximilian Ramirez still out there on the mound for the Mohawks. Did a good job to work out of a bases loaded jam last inning. Watertown looked threatening, but a couple of big strikeouts for Ramirez. Got Flaherty and Norton both to strike out with the bases loaded for the 2nd and 3rd outs of the 7th inning. And Ramirez wasting no time. Looks like he's ready to go. And we're going to start the bottom of the 8th inning. Colin Hageman will lead off for the Rapids, the shortstop. Hageman again came in earlier in this game, defensive replacement for Brett Myers at shortstop. And now leading off the 8th inning. Ramirez deals to the plate. Quick delivery from Ramirez. A little bit of a leg kick with that left leg, and then just a smooth motion to lunge forward and deliver. That one missed the zone. It's 1-0. This one popped up down the first baseline. Going over and making the catch is the first baseman. I believe that's Luke Longo over there at first, but the Mohawks have moved players around so much that I'm not certain at this point. And as I mentioned at the very beginning of the night, these uniforms not exactly the easiest to read number-wise. Might actually be Zach Eldred over there at first base. Back to the top of the order, it's Nick Licurdo swinging a foul ball directly back, 0-1. Licurdo with a walk, reached on an error, and singled. That one misses inside. Be 1-1. 1-1 from Ramirez. Low. 2-1. Two and one from Maximilian Ramirez. Swung on and missed by Licurdo. Strike 2. One out, nobody on. 2-2 count for the center fielder, Nick Licurdo. This one fouled back. Nick stays alive. On deck is Terrence Moynihan, the second baseman. Another 2-2 from Ramirez. Misses outside, full count. Tough pitch to take that time for Licurdo, but he did. And it missed just outside. It'll be a full count. Payoff pitch. Licurdo fouls it back. Giving chase as the catcher, but that one's going to get out of play up into the netting behind home plate. Again, the count still full. 1 out. And Nick Licurdo at the dish. Nobody on. Bottom of the 8th inning. Watertown trailing by 4, 9-5 in favor of the visiting Amsterdam Mohawks. Ramirez deals, and that one's low. Licurdo will walk again and head down to first. Terrence Moynihan will get a chance with a runner on. Terrence Moynihan. Some will call him T-Money. He's been known to go by that name, that nommer. First pitch to Moynihan, in for a strike, 0-1. Licurdo at first. Be interesting to see if he's maybe tempted to run here. Down by 4, though. Swing and a miss from Moynihan, quickly 0-2. Fastball right by him that time for Martinez. Ramirez, rather. Martinez, the right fielder. Ramirez comes set and delivers to the plate. Moynihan able to get a piece on that one, but reeled in over there at second base. Irizarry making the play that time. And quickly 2 outs. Jax Miller steps to the dish now with a man on first and 2 outs. Nick Licurdo reached on a walk. And now Miller with another opportunity. A couple of hits for Jax tonight. We'll raise the average a little bit. Watertown's batting average leader on the season. Jax Miller came into the night hitting .361. Good 80 points better than anyone else on the team. Swing and a miss that time. Big hack from Miller, and it's 1-1. Licurdo over there on first. Not a huge lead. Being held on by Eldred. Miller popped up. He's going to fall in. And Miller's going to beat it out at first. Another little bloop single for the Rapids, but they'll take him any way they can get him right now. Miller's going to get his 3rd single of the night. That one's going to fall in right in front of the shortstop. And Miller with the foot speed to beat it out. McCann, the catcher, just had to get the rest of his gear off before he could head up to the plate. With 2 outs, you only take maybe the chest protector and the mask off and leave the shin guards on in case your teammate makes the 3rd out and you need to go back out there. So McCann able to take the shin guards off and head up to the dish now with runners at first and second and 2 outs. That one misses high, 1-0. Can a couple of walks and a double. Went the opposite way and doubled off the wall. Big hack there. Comes up empty, 1-1. cooled down quite a bit, and the crowd has cooled off too. A little quieter than it was in the early innings here at Toyota Field. McCann high into the air out towards center field. DeBose, and that one's going to fall in. McCann gets the second. Miller rounds third, and he heads home. Throw to the plate is not in time. Rapids tack on 2 as that one falls in. And miscommunication between the left fielder Johnson and the center fielder DeBose, and it's going to fall in. Nobody ever touched that one, so it's almost got to be ruled a double for McCann.
Now batting, number 2, Nick
Wait to see if we get a ruling. The scoreboard says 2 errors now for Amsterdam, but pretty tough to rule an error when no one actually touches the ball out there in the outfield. Either way, 2 runs come across the score, and the lead's now 2, 9-7, as Nick Mazzata steps to the plate. I don't know what Nate did, the statistician, the official scorekeeper, but I'm going to give McCann a double there, I think. And now we're going to have a discussion at the mound before Mazzata can hit. So conversation at the mound as Watertown cuts the lead 9-7. And Mazzata will be the hitter with McCann at second. So while we were having a conversation out on the mound, I went over and had a conversation with the scorekeeper. And Nate said he thought that ball should have been caught out in left field and gave an error to the left fielder Johnson. So as of now, a couple of unearned runs. And McCann does not officially get credit for a double. Instead, it's an error on the left fielder Jared Johnson, and it's quickly 2-0 to Nick Mazzata. McCann's on second after the error. And Mazzata now is the tying run at home plate. 2-0, 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th. And the Rapids trying to make a really improbable comeback. That one also misses outside. It's 3-0 to Mazzata. Perilli's on deck. He's been hit by a pitch and has a single as well. And if Perilli was to reach after Mazzata, it'd be Grandelli. 3-0 to Mazzata, and it's called strike. I think Nick was ready to toss the bat and head to first. I'll have to wait for now. 3-1. Ramirez stayed in the game after the mound visit. And it doesn't look like there's anybody up in the pen, but Ramirez misses ball 4. Mazzata will take first, and Quentin Perilli will step to the plate as the go-ahead run here in the bottom of the 8th. 9-7's the score. And the catcher Perilli steps to the plate. The first baseman, Perilli, rather. I'm so used to seeing him behind the plate. He's played there most of the time this year. He's playing first tonight. McCann doing the catching. McCann on second after reaching on the air by Johnson. First pitch from Ramirez. Heat thrown in there. That's maybe as hard as we've seen Ramirez throw all night. And that one's in for a strike, 0-1. Nobody up in the bullpen for the Mohawks. Ramirez is going to have to get through this one. That one misses, 1-1. Breaking ball just outside. And the count even, 1-1. Ramirez comes set delivers home. Perilli into the outfield. DeBose heading over. Makes the catch on the run. Jalen DeBose. And saves a couple of runs at least. Jalen DeBose on the running catch in the gap. Perilli looked like that one might get down for a second. Instead, it's caught. And so Watertown adds 2 more in the bottom of the 8th. They trail 9-7. And slowly but surely working their way back into this one. They've got a chance. And they'll have to hold the Mohawks here. Keep the lead to just 2. And it's going to be Corey Roberts out for his 3rd inning of relief. Roberts came into this one in relief of Flyzik and has been very good so far, giving up nothing. A couple of hits in that last inning, but worked out of it, got out of trouble. And Roberts will look to do the same thing here in the 9th. And keep the deficit to 2 for the Rapids. Give them a chance in the bottom of the 9th inning. Wonder if Coach Kogut would be tempted to use Pranav Sundar off the bench as a pinch hitter. Pranav on Thursday night hit a go-ahead 3-run home run. That was an absolute no-doubter. Just a tank off the bat of Sundar in that 8th inning on Thursday. Go-ahead 3-run home run, put him up by 1, and then they were able to close the door. Tech Nash was the pitcher on the winning side for the Rapids. Came in with a couple of run deficit, but the Watertown Rapids able to fight back and take the lead, and so Nash got the win the other night. I'm rambling along here trying to say, I wonder if Sundar would get an opportunity in the 9th inning. It'll be the top of the line for the Mohawks. Eddie Yaman will lead off the inning. For the visiting team, they lead by 2. Watertown trails by 2. 9-7 is the score as we start the top of the 9th. Cotton Eye Joe playing in the background and getting the crowd back involved a little bit. They were lulled a little bit, but the couple of runs in the 8th giving them and the Watertown dugout as well a little bit of belief that they might have a serious chance in this one. Eddie Yaman now batting. Pitch from Roberts is high, ball 1. One and 1 to Yaman. Comes into the night batting 182 on the year. Yaman follows that one off, slicing away. And over towards the dugout. Looked like a Zach Zabriskie golf shot right there. I'm not one to talk. I got a pretty good slice myself most of the time. 1-2 from Roberts is low, ball 2. There's some fireworks going off in the outfield. Well, behind the outfield. Pretty much dead center, there's some fireworks happening out there. Thought the fireworks weren't scheduled to happen until Monday night. Roberts, strike 3 called. Yaman down looking. Eddie Yaman, maybe distracted by those fireworks out there in center field. Caught looking. And I believe this is actually Mason Swinney, not Brewer Webster. again, Mohawks uniforms, the black with the white and red stripes across the front, are really aesthetically pleasing, but not from a broadcaster's point of view. Hard to read the numbers on the back. It is Brewer Webster at the plate, who fakes bunt, pulls back, but called strike anyway. So Webster at the plate. Pitch from Roberts, down and out, 1-1. One and one out. Top of the ninth, nobody on. Roberts misses again, 2-1. Roberts deals. Webster puts it in play. Perilli fields it on a high hop, steps on the bag for the out. And there's two gone in the top of the ninth. So Webster retired on the ground ball to Perilli.
Number 9, Mason Swinney. Number 9.
So now is Mason Swinney. First pitch to Swinney, misses outside, 1-0. From Roberts, misses low, 2-0. Top of the ninth, Roberts looking to hold the Mohawks here. As it stands, it's a 2-run deficit for the Rapids heading into the bottom of the ninth. This one lined into right field off the bat of Swinney. It's going to fall in for a 2-out hit. Mason Swinney reaches with the single. And now stepping to the plate is the catcher, number 34, Luke Longo. First baseman Luke Longo, rather. Longo does some catching as well, but playing first tonight. Longo with a runner on first, 2 outs in the top of the ninth. Delivery from Roberts. This is outside, 1-0. Swinney on first after the single to right field. Roberts looking that way, deals to the plate. Ball put in play into left field and over the head of Grandelli, bounces off the wall. Grandelli picks it up there, fires it in, and Swinney's going to hold at third. It's a double off the bat of Luke Longo. His second ball hit out that way, and this one is the double that it should have been in the first. Grandelli with a good throw in quickly, able to hold the runner Swinney at third and prevent another run scoring for the Mohawks. And it looks like now we're going to have a pitching change as Kogut heads to the mound, signaled to the bullpen. I meant to check earlier on who was out there in the bullpen for the Rapids, but I didn't get the chance to. And waiting now for the player to come in from the bullpen, and here he is, marching in for Watertown. And heading out to the mound is number 29, Kaylin Clarkson on the pitch, looking to get one out here in the top of the ninth and keep the deficit to 2 runs for the Rapids. Kaylin Clarkson will warm up.
New pitcher for the Rapids.
And so as Clarkson warms up, I'm going to step aside really briefly, take a break. It's still pretty warm. It's cooled down quite a bit, and there's a nice breeze, but it has remained a little bit muggy, and so I'm going to use this opportunity to give myself a little bit of a rest, if you don't mind, while Clarkson warms up. Well, welcome back to the top of the 9th inning at Toyota Field at the Alex T. Duffy Fairgrounds. Kaylin Clarkson on the pitch, trying to get the final out of the 9th for the Rapids. The lefty deals, and it's fouled away. Out of play off the bat of Jackson West.
This is the extra hitter for Amsterdam, number 20, Jackson West.
Jackson West, the lefty at the plate against the lefty Clarkson on the mound. Clarkson deals, that one's high, 1-1. Runners on second and third after the double for Luke Longo, the first baseman. Runner on third is Mason Swinney. Clarkson popped up, foul out of play, 1-2. Coach Kogut yelling out to center fielder Nick Licurdo to play a little more shallow. Didn't want the ball to fall in front of him to score a run or maybe even 2. Licurdo didn't really move in too far either, so. Pitch from Clarkson, put in play, fielded at second by Moynihan, and a good play to get the third out of the inning. Terrence Moynihan fielded that one expertly at second, made a good throw. And the Rapids trailed just by 2 as we head to the bottom of the 9th. They've got a chance in this one. They've had opportunities all night. They've had no issues getting players on base. It's been a matter of getting them in once they've been on base. 14 hits and 2 errors for Amsterdam. 7 runs for Watertown. 9 runs on 11 hits and 3 Watertown errors for the visiting Amsterdam Mohawks. A team who pretty much every year is the best team in the league or one of them. They recruit better than just about anybody in the league. They get pretty much exclusively Division I athletes. And they have a history of winning, which is part of the reason why they can recruit so well and do recruit so well. The Amsterdam Mohawks almost always send a broadcast team, and always a pleasure to share our facilities, our booth, with the Amsterdam broadcast team. They're down in the far end. There's 3 separate rooms up here in our broadcast booth at Toyota Field, and the Amsterdam Mohawks all the way down in the far right side. Their broadcast team, they do a radio broadcast on the road on Facebook Live. Thrilled that NBC is able to bring you tonight's game. It's been a really good game. Feels like it's been a long game as well, but that doesn't bother us too much. We enjoy baseball. And NBC Watertown is proud to bring you Watertown Rapids baseball. Zach Zabriskie, again, the man on the controls. He's running cameras, he's switching cameras. He's doing dance moves in between innings. Directing traffic up here. He does it all. My name's Connor Lalone. Most of the time, I'll be next door doing the public address, but thrilled tonight to be able to bring you play-by-play of tonight's perfect game, Collegiate Baseball League showdown between the Watertown Rapids and the Amsterdam Mohawks. As we start the bottom of the 9th inning, Watertown trails by 2. It's Gaden Grandelli at the plate, the left fielder. Grandelli, couple hits tonight. Would love to get on base here to start the 9th. Takes a first pitch strike, 0-1. Still Ramirez out there for the Mohawks. Grandelli swings and misses, ugly hack there. And it's 0-2. You'd have to wonder if Ramirez is pretty much what Amsterdam has in terms of pitching. As he's been out there, he's been in some trouble. Not necessarily always of his own volition. He got a fly ball out in the left field that should have been caught off the bat of McCann. That wasn't. And that's how Watertown scored 2 runs in the bottom of the 8th. But Ramirez has been out there. There's been absolutely no movement in the bullpen. There's nobody even out there for Amsterdam. So Ramirez is going to finish this game, it looks like, one way or the other. 1-2 to Grandelli. Left-handed batter at the plate with some serious power. This one fouled away. Out of plate. Behind home plate. Off to the third base side, rather. Flaherty on deck. And then barring any changes, it would be Mike Norton for Watertown. One and two. Ramirez to Grandelli. Great. Gaten gets a hold of this one out to right field, and it's going to hang up just long enough for the right fielder. Looked for a second like Grandelli got enough of that one. Martinez was there to reel it in for the first out. Grandelli, as he came over back to the Watertown dugout, held up his fingers, missed it by that much. Just missed the barrel of the bat, sweet spot there. Hung up long enough in the outfield for Martinez to make the catch in right field for the first out. So Flaherty up now with 1 out and nobody on. Watertown trailing by 2. Have to get somebody on board before they could even think of tying the game. And Flaherty's the kind of guy who, if he got on, could make some noise on the base paths. Although, again, you need 2 runs, so you definitely don't want to run yourself out of one. Flaherty needs to get on first before you even start to worry about that, though. 1-1, 2-0 rather. First pitch was called a ball, and the second one missed low and away. It's 2-0. Ramirez looks in, nods his head, fires the pitch. Strike 1. Third baseman Swinney is in a little bit shallower than normal depth, maybe anticipating that Flaherty might think about laying a bunt down. with only one strike, that's a possibility. Flaherty handles the bat pretty decently, and he's got some serious speed as well. Pitch to Flaherty. Pulled down the line. Good pick by Swinney. And the throw over to first in time for out number 2. Well, Flaherty hit that one really well, right on the screws. But Swinney over at third base with a good pick on the backhand and a solid throw to first base to get the out. And now the Rapids down to their final out of the night. And Mike Norton will step to the plate. Norton, 3 strikeouts, looking to avoid the golden sombrero. 4 strikeout night. And of course, a strikeout for Norton here would end the game with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th. First pitch from Ramirez. Swung on and missed. Strike 1. Oh and 1, nobody on. Pranav Sundar out on deck to pinch hit if it gets there, but Norton swing and a miss. Check swing, but he definitely went around, and it's 0-2, and Watertown down to their final strike of the night. Ramirez set now for the 0-2. Here's the pitch. High. Good take by Norton. It's 1-2. It's a tough pitch to take when your back's completely up against the wall like it is for Norton. Down 0-2 there. It's a pitch he very easily could have swung at and just rolled over or popped up. And instead he takes it, and it's 1-2. Ramirez set now. And Norton in play towards first base, handled there, and Eldred tosses over to the pitcher Ramirez to get the final out of the game, and Amsterdam holds on. 9-7 is the final score. They defeat the Watertown Rapids. Watertown fought back, valiant effort all night, but ultimately it's going to be a story of chances that they just didn't take advantage of. They had opportunities all night, bases loaded in a couple different innings, and unable to put together a real big inning. And they fall to the Amsterdam Mohawks here at home, 9-7. And so for everybody at NBC Watertown, for Zach Zabriskie on the controls, my name's Connor Lalone. We're thrilled that you could have joined us for tonight's perfect game collegiate baseball league action as the Watertown Rapids lose 7-9 to the visiting Amsterdam Mohawks. And again, thank you to tuning in for Watertown Rapids baseball on NBC Watertown. And again, thank you to the Youth Alliance of Jefferson County and the Alliance for Better Communities for sponsoring tonight's game, both for the Rapids and for us as well. And so again, one more final time for Zach Zabriskie. I'm Connor Lalone. Thank you for joining us, and have a good night.